Star-Spangled Banner, yet wave. Oh, the land of the free, in the home of the brave.
This is ESPN 1025 The Game. From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers. 1025 and 1063.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushers.
Awesome game. Separate flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willy Donick,
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee.
and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason on Nashville's best sports talk, 1025 and 1063 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 1025-1063, The Game, and the Game Nashville app. You can watch us streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live every day. Our video streaming is brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. 0 for 3 again today, but you got Caroline Fenton and Big Joe Dubin. We're out at St. Thomas Sports Park for Titans joint practices with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Joe, how we doing?
It's good to be back out here again. You know, it's just like we were just here, and then here we are again. So it's
it
good
does
to see.
kind of feel like Groundhog Day over the
Right?
summer with training camp. It's like, hey.
So we got action on the
here
field.
again.
Yeah, and they've moved. They were in front of us. We saw some good action, and they moved to the far field. So we'll have to do our best, get our bird's eye view of what's happening over there. But it was good. I mean, this is always fun. They got people out here. We got different jerseys. Yesterday was a good day. It was a fun day to watch some football. Today, though, they don't have on full pads. I guess I'm not seeing anything that's not different. You got the shells on, so I'm not sure how much one-on-one like interior with the linemen are going to go on as far as there's no tackling anyway, but it's good to see it out here, man.
Yeah, and yesterday I think the biggest thing was, after the last couple of weeks of practice, I just thought I just need to see somebody hit somebody.
Yeah.
I just need to see something different. And I'm sick of the conversation or the internal debate that I had with myself of, was that really good offense or really bad defense, or
Right.
vice versa? Was that really good defense or bad offense? So it's nice to be able to get, an actual perspective of what we're going to see on game day. So that was one of my biggest things from yesterday, was just being able to see, okay, what we've seen all season, all preseason long in training camp, let's see that put to the test with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, that's a great point, because when they do, the Titans had it by themselves, and if on a 2-minute drill the defense looks great, well, then you're upset that the offense looked really bad if you're the head coach. But now, like yesterday, Tannehill looked fantastic against the Bucs defense. So now you can say, look, our offense wasn't bad. Our defense did good today, because you can compare them against another team besides yourself. So if we're able to have to go in and fret all day because the defense looked terrible or the offense looked terrible, now you can compare it against something.
And so you bring up a good point, because I had a few big takeaways from yesterday's practice. One, first and foremost, Treylon Burks left yesterday's practice, and it was one of those things that I honestly didn't even notice it.
Right.
It wasn't egregious. The cart didn't have to come out. Treylon Burks wasn't laying on the ground. He left so, inauspiciously, I guess is the right word. Conspicuously?
Something
like that.
Well, good point. Nobody noticed.
Very under the radar. And TD even asked me after practice, he was like, did you see Burks come out after that team period? I was like, actually, that's a very good point, because no, I didn't. So that was a good thing to me, to see Treylon Burks. Always a bad thing whenever you see a player leave practice. And, of course, with Treylon Burks, I think the wound is still a little bit fresh about how much we can believe that he can stay out there on the field. So that brought up some concerns from me of, okay, what was the deal there? We didn't see him laying on the ground. We didn't see a cart come out. So that's good. We knew it wasn't such a horrendous or heinous injury. That's good. But I wondered what was the problem there.
We've all seen the play of him in the one-on-one drill yesterday where he just smoked the Buccaneers. I don't know who the Buccaneers DB was, but smoked him, got separation, had a great catch, probably a 40-yard catch. Looked really good, and then all of a sudden – he's not out there. But there was so much going on in Carolina, it was hard to stop and say, all right, what's going on over here? There's so much activity going on that it was kind of hard to notice. You're correct on that.
And you mentioned you thought Tannehill looked fantastic yesterday. I was out on the offensive field. I do want to get into some of the things that we saw on defense yesterday, but I would say you bring up Ryan Tannehill. And also to that point, we were just talking about Traylon Burks. We see him running off the field right now. So he is out there. He's running around. He looks fine. So that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, and also it was – you talk about him leaving. It was like Vrabel's asked after practice about it. He's like, well, give that answer. Like, anytime anybody misses reps and something like this, you fall a little bit behind. So you get that very generic answer. But I bet he probably didn't know at that moment what was going on because practice just ended and he's up there talking to the media. But to see him back out here is really good.
Yeah, it is. It is good to see him back out here. And you bring up Ryan Tannehill because that was one of my big takeaways from yesterday. Not just Ryan Tannehill, but the quarterback group as a whole. You say Ryan Tannehill, you thought he looked fantastic yesterday. What did you see from Ryan Tannehill yesterday?
He was delivering the ball. He was confident. He was a presence in the pocket. Like, what does that mean? He stood tall. He made a few bad throws, but went right back to the other, to a next play, delivered the ball on time, ran the offense down the field against the Buccaneers. Well, I think it's a very good defense yesterday. I was making things clear. I mean, he looked good. And as good as he looked, Caroline, as bad as everybody else looked behind him. So you got to hope that Tannehill stays upright this entire season. But he delivered yesterday. I mean, he made some great passes, and I'd give him an A for yesterday's practice.
See, that was one of my big things too yesterday was Tannehill looked confident. And that was my big thing was Tannehill wasn't perfect yesterday. Tannehill threw an interception, and he said it was a miscommunication with Kyle Phillips that he perhaps ran the wrong route, and Ryan Tannehill threw the ball right into the hands of Devin White. I don't know what that was. I don't know if Kyle Phillips ran the wrong route. I don't know if it was miscommunication. When you're in the middle of the game, a pick's a pick, and a turnover is a turnover. But I did see Tannehill threw that interception to Devin White. Logan Woodside came in for a series, and then Ryan Tannehill came back out in that next series. First down on that first throw, threw to an open field, could have been an interception, wasn't a great throw, but then on the next drive, he threw it downfield to Kyle Phillips again for a first down. So that was the kind of confidence that I saw from Ryan Tannehill yesterday.
Yeah.
He wasn't perfect. He threw an interception. He threw a ball that I think could have been picked off. But he continued to go back out there and continued to make plays and continued to get it past the sticks. So that was my biggest thing with Ryan Tannehill from last year was he'd throw an interception or he'd get pressured and he'd get rattled. And it was almost like he was thinking about that bad play or that pressure for far too long. And yesterday, seeing him come out and be able to continue to make plays even after he's a little bit rattled, even after an interception, that was a good thing from me. I said
totally
I'd give
agree.
him an A-.
Oh, A-. Okay. He still gets in the A range. That's good. Now let's talk the backup quarterbacks because Willis, oh my goodness, he stood in that pocket. He stood in the pocket so long I could have sacked him yesterday. And his tendency, and I think what is going to happen, Caroline, I told this to Chase yesterday, when Vince Young was here, they tried to make Vince Young this drop-back passer. He's not. His instincts are, all right, my first and second right there, I'm gone. Mm-hmm. And now they're like, all right, check 1, check 2, check 3, check 4. When those are all exhausted, take off running. Well, he doesn't have that kind of time. He's not used to that pressure. So when he came at him yesterday, he just kind of stood there. I was like, oh, man, what's he trying to do now? Because normally he would run. Right. I think it could be a mental thing where they mess with him so much he don't know what he's going to do, and he gets away from his natural instincts. Now move to Logan Woodside. I don't have enough adjectives on how bad he was yesterday.
I tried to come up with a few yesterday. Right? I think I said vomit, trash, disgusting, awful, horrible, horrendous.
Right.
Tried to come up with as many just negative words as I possibly could. And I don't think I'm being dramatic in saying that.
No.
That Logan Woodside was bad yesterday.
Yeah, he was. When you say, oh, well, he had a bad day, but no, I didn't see much positive from him going forward in the practice. Usually, you might have a bad couple, 3 or 4 plays, right? The bad drive, whatever, back up there. But he continuously had those and was unsure. And what I hated what a quarterback does, Caroline, is that he's so unsure, he's those little 3-yard drop-off passes to the tight end who's right in front of him, or the fullback, right? Stand there and deliver and make that play happen, and he was just dumping it right off in front of him. I was like, oh, this is not good.
And that was one of my biggest things that I saw from Logan Woodside. I'm looking back at my notes from yesterday, and one of the notes that I had was 5 minus 1. Very confusing throw by Logan Woodside. He threw right in front of him, right into his chest when he was in coverage. And that's what I saw over and over again from Logan Woodside was you got open receivers downfield.
Yes.
And then you've got a tight end or a running back. I saw him do that to Trenton Cannon several times yesterday. 5 yards in front of you. There was one play where Trenton Cannon had 2 guys on him. Basically, he was piggybacking 2 guys. And Logan Woodside targets him and throws a bullet right into his chest, right in front of him. I thought, well, first of all, why are you targeting a guy who's in double coverage?
Exactly.
Second of all, why are you throwing the ball that hard to his chest? He's right there. He's right there. And third of all,
yes.
do you not see those guys downfield that are open? That's a problem. 2, do you not feel comfortable throwing to those guys downfield? Well, that's a problem. So I don't know what that is with Logan Woodside. When we see those things from Malik Willis, I defer to he's not comfortable yet.
Right.
He's not confident yet. He's a rookie quarterback who's been here for a few months, and those are things that he's going to have to get acclimated to and he's going to have to get used to. Malik Willis, at least, when he's sitting back in the pocket and he doesn't feel comfortable, he can still make plays happen with his legs. Logan Woodside is not as athletic or is not as talented with his legs as Malik Willis is. So he looks shaky and not very confident and uncomfortable in the pocket, makes questionable throws, but he doesn't have the athleticism to help him out on the other side. And also, Logan Woodside has the experience. Logan Woodside's been here for a few years.
Yeah, I mean, he's ran the scout team, so he knows the speed. But here's my hot take. By the way, Tannehill just delivered a perfect pass in the back of the end zone, 7-on-7. It was.
I can't see much, but
Nick
I
Westbrook
can't see he's out there.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a perfect pass against the Bucs. Number 1 hot take for you, Caroline.
Oh.
If Woodside's terrible today, he's terrible Saturday, they go get a number 2 quarterback. They have to, because that gives them a week versus the Cardinals, a week prior to the Giants game to get a quarterback here and learn. You cannot. I'm sorry. I know John Robinson and Rainbow know more about football than I do, but you know a Mercedes when you see it, you know, and you know a Kia when you see it. You know,
No
different levels.
To Kias.
Yes, different levels.
We love a Kia.
I love a Kia, but with a Mercedes, you know what you got to get out there, and Tannehill right now could be that, but you're going to see you can't go in the season with a Woodside. You can't do it. You just can't do that because he looks so bad. If he's bad these next 2 days, they got to get a backup quarterback.
So I think it's very interesting that you bring that up, and I want to get into that coming up next, because what will the Titans' plan at backup quarterback be? Going to get into that, plus your thoughts. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Caroline Fenton, Joe Dubin, we're in for Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. We're out here at the St. Thomas Sports Park at the Titans joint practice with the Buccaneers. It's day 2. We'll bring our takeaways all throughout the show. It's Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 1025, 1063 The Game.
Let's put the green flag in the air and turn them loose.
Nashville's home for NASCAR.
He's going to try to make a big move here.
Is brought to you by the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. We are your racing station.
ESPN
1025 and 1063 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now, 615-576-5000.
In St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, the beach is just the beginning. Because here, there's so much more to explore. So let's paddle, and maybe even parasail. Let's hit the trails, the coffee shops, the quaint boutiques, and craft breweries. And then let's indulge in some fresh seafood with a sea view. From the Gulf Coast to the Bay, there's something for every taste and every interest. So let's make the most of every sun-drenched minute, and let's shine. Start planning your next escape at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
Hey, homeowners and home buyers, listen up. Loan Pronto has 30-year fixed rates with APRs in the 4s and 15-year loans with APRs that start with 3. Hey, it's Willy Donick. Don't be confused by the media's hype about interest rates. At Loan Pronto, their rates have plummeted recently, and they're currently refinancing homeowners who locked in a 5 or 6% rate. So if you've got a rate over 5%, or if your lender has you pre-approved or locked in at anything 5% or higher, you need to call Loan Pronto now. Not all lender rates are created equal. Loan Pronto's rates are down big time, and you need to take advantage. Whether you're buying, refinancing, getting cash out, or even if you just closed a few weeks ago. Call Loan Pronto today, and you could save tens of thousands of dollars. Loan Pronto can help keep more money in your pocket. Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Tune in to ESPN 102.5 The Game every Tuesday afternoon at 4:30 for ESPN's Trevor Maddich joining me, Jared Stillman, on Stillman & Company as we dive deep into the college football world and all the latest from the SEC. It's all brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
A new Dick's Sporting Goods warehouse sales store is now open in Franklin at Watson Glen. Get ready to score up to 70% off thousands of items from your favorite athletic brands. Check out can't-miss deals for the entire family, including tees, tanks, shorts, leggings, footwear, golf apparel, and more. Plus, new styles arrive weekly, so there's always more from the best brands. Check out your new Dick's Sporting Goods warehouse sales store for the grand opening celebration, August 19th to the 21st in Franklin at Watson Glen.
I love this show.
Never miss a moment of the show.
Okay, all right, okay.
Subscribe to the Chase, Willy, and D-Mase podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
How do you feel about Logan's camp so far, overall?
Well, I mean, I think overall, good. I feel good about where he's at. I just think that, he has to, and they all do, continue to take care of the football. Make the plays that you're supposed to make. We talk about that throughout every position, as opposed to trying to make something that's not there. Whether that's a defensive player coming under a block or trying to go make a play, just try to make good plays.
That was Mike Vrabel on Logan Woodside's camp so far. And there were two things that I heard in there. Mike Vrabel said he needs to continue to take care of the football and he needs to continue to make plays. And I have not seen Logan Woodside do either of those things, at least in the past few days. Looking over Logan Woodside's day yesterday, he first comes in 7-on-7. He targeted Des Fitzpatrick for a short yardage situation, short of the sticks. Next play, Logan Woodside throws an interception right into the hands of a Tampa Bay Buccaneers defender. And then he gets pulled. Tannehill comes in. Malik Willis comes in for a series. Tannehill comes in for another series. Next play, Logan Woodside comes in 5-1, targets Trenton Cannon with two guys on his back. A very confusing throw that was almost nearly impossible for Trenton Cannon to complete that pass. Next, pass to Julius Chestnut. Julius Chestnut was in very, very tight coverage. Logan Woodside delivers just a bullet to him. Julius Chestnut drops the ball. I don't necessarily blame Julius Chestnut for that. Of course, when you're the receiver, you have to take care of the football. But I think I blame Logan Woodside for the decision. And then an 11-on-11, Logan Woodside passes it off to Hassan Haskins for a nice little run. Passes it off to Reggie Robertson, who had a nice little yards after catch situation. But Logan Woodside also almost fumbled the snap there.
Oh.
And
yeah,
then that
good.
was the day in 11-on-11 for Logan Woodside, and then came in later on in team periods and threw a ball that got tipped that very easily could have been an interception if he was going up against the Tampa Bay ones. So that was Logan Woodside's day yesterday. And I don't think I'm being dramatic in saying Logan Woodside looked bad.
He did.
Logan Woodside looked like a player that if he had to come in relief of Ryan Tannehill, you're not winning a football game. Now, Joe, you had a hot take before the break. You said if today's bad, if Sunday's bad, if Saturday's bad,
you got to get another.
You got to get another quarterback.
You have to. I'm watching Tannehill again. He just right down the field, man. He is. Was that complete in the corner over there? I think it was a touchdown. I mean, Tannehill has been on fire again today against the Bucs one, and that's, That's the biggest thing out here. If Tannehill looked awful, you'd be like, oh, here we go. So now you kind of put that on Woodside for your number 2. And, again, if he looks bad today and looks bad Saturday, you cannot go into the season with Malik Willis as your backup quarterback. You just can't right now. I mean, maybe John Robinson knows more than we know, but I'd go out and find me a solid number 2 somewhere in the league. Somebody that's maybe gets cut or, maybe still out there. Somebody come in there because you can't, Carolina, and you saw it.
Yeah.
You just read yesterday. You can't keep doing this.
And I don't disagree with you, but I almost have a mental dilemma with this. We were discussing this yesterday because I said yesterday you have to go get another number 2. You have to be able to go get another backup quarterback out there, whether that's a Matt Barkley or a big game Blaine, to bring in somebody who knows this offense and somebody who you can at least trust to take care of the football. A couple things with that. Well, Logan Woodside's beat out both of those guys for the backup job.
Malik Willis, nice pass in the end zone.
All right, Malik Willis, touchdown.
He's running number 2s on this goal line drill right now. Well, Malik is. Woodside is sitting back there at number 3. So take from that what you want.
And I noticed that yesterday as well. Malik Willis took a good bit of snaps with the 2s yesterday. But I struggle with bringing in a Matt Barkley or a Blaine Gabbert because, first and foremost, Logan Woodside's beat out both of those guys for the backup job before. Second of all, is there any backup quarterback in the league that the Titans could bring in that would make you feel better about winning games?
Well, I don't think they can get a number 2 from anybody's team unless they give up a high draft choice for that.
A high draft choice for a backup quarterback?
Absolutely.
When the Bucks have 4 quarterbacks on the roster right now?
Well, I mean, what's Brady's deal? I mean, you got Trask. Trask looked okay yesterday.
Trask did not look bad yesterday.
But I'm not saying just from that Buccaneers, but any standpoint, if you go on, you want the number 2 quarterback for, I don't know, say Denver.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is. Denver's like, all right, we'll give it to you, but give us a second-round draft choice. I mean, you're going to have to give up something to get somebody who's already on the team that well, that's doing good. Somebody that's maybe out of the league.
That knows this offense as well.
Yeah.
That's
so
another thing. You can't
bring them in
someone
next
in
week.
August.
You got all next week. You got the Cardinals coming in here. You have the week before the Giants. So there's some time you can learn and kind of get on the same page. But, again, you just can't. Maybe Woodside has a great day today and a great day Saturday, and you put all that to rest. But, I mean, it was Tannehill, Willis. Now Tannehill's back in. I haven't seen Woodside take any reps yet on this particular drill here at the in the end zone.
And something to note, a little off topic, but something to note, Tannehill's on the field and Dylan Radins is on the sidelines. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say on that.
That's all we can say.
But is there any backup in the league other than like a Sam Darnold that you feel like could come in and win you games?
God, I don't know who's on these other teams, though, these quarterbacks. They keep changing so much.
And they do change so much, but the backup quarterbacks that I do know, I think Sam Darnold is one that's a high-paid quarterback that you would feel at least comfortable enough with backing up Baker Mayfield. Jordan Love, Green Bay doesn't believe in Jordan Love.
No, not at all.
Green Bay drafted Jordan Love in the first
right.
round.
Isn't that crazy?
And I don't think that they view him as the future at all in Green Bay. You look at, what just happened?
Hassan Haskins just ran somebody over for a touchdown on that.
All right.
But it's unfair because they're not wearing full pads, so it's unfair to run over somebody. They're not really tackling. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of this drill. This is just me. Full pads. What you could do. I mean, it's Hassan Haskins. It's not asking Derrick Henry to do that. So yeah, they're just wearing their shoulder pads and the shells, but no, not full uniforms out here. So I don't know. It's one of those breakdown things. Again, not a fan of these kind of drills because they favor.
It's tough to get a good grasp on. Yeah, and to that point that we were talking about, before the joint practices, good offense, bad defense, good defense, bad offense.
Yes.
I mean, this is where the offense shines out here because the defense can't do anything.
You're right.
Other than in one-on-ones, but, you can't tackle. You can't really do much. You can't put a ton of pressure on the quarterback. But back to the backup quarterback conversation because I have a mental dilemma in my head of saying, okay, I know that Logan Woodside, I do not feel comfortable with Logan Woodside coming into a game if he has to relieve Ryan Tannehill. But 2, is there any backup quarterback in the league other than a quarterback that was, vying for the starting job and didn't win it, like a Sam Darnold?
Right.
That, or, a Geno Smith or Drew Lock situation that you would feel comfortable with coming in. And that's my mental dilemma. I don't know what the Titans do here because I don't know if they see a need that urgently.
Right. Well, you took it like Joe Flacco, okay?
Yeah.
He's now
one that you could probably feel good enough about.
Exactly. He's starting for the Jets. I mean, do you want to see Joe Flacco start 17 games? Of course not. But with Zach Wilson down for a couple of games, it's perfect. He knows the league. I mean, he's probably not going to go out and throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, but he knows enough to get the ball rolling, get the team down the field.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there's somebody else out there. I also want to say that I'm about to murder a fly.
Yeah, there are several little critters flying around here that are getting on my last dang nerve.
So we're going to get those flies. But, I mean, so the Jets are reassured with that because you got a good Flacco going in there. Mm-hmm. But this team. So, again, hopefully Woodside, he's in there now. Hopefully he does well today because it can't be much worse than yesterday, can it?
I don't know. Unless it's a pick on every single snap,
right.
I think that is really the only thing that could be worse than yesterday. I mean, it was bad. The preseason game was bad. And when you talk about your backup quarterback, I don't think the Titans would ever ask Logan Woodside to make the deep throws that he made in that preseason game. I think they would ask him, you go in there, you take care of the football, you hand that ball off to Derrick Henry, and that's how we're going to get through the rest of the game.
What was it that Todd Downing said that 7 of his completions went for first downs or moved the chains in a positive way? Some crazy stat that he said on Friday.
Move the chains in a negative way?
Some of his passes or the completions did something to set up better for the next. I don't know. Look, man, we saw what we saw during the game, and it wasn't that good. You could kind of sell it whatever way you want to, but it still wasn't that good. He completed a pass, Caroline.
Oh, wow. Look at Logan doing the things that he's, the bare minimum of your job that it's asked to do.
I know. Hey, before we go to the break, we got to say this. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family, Dawson Knox's family. His younger brother, Luke Knox, tragically passed away last night. They went to Brentwood Academy. They're Nashville people. This is just an awful story, and I hate that we have to read this. Luke Knox died. He's Dawson Knox's younger brother, graduated from Brentwood Academy. He passed away last night at Florida International University on Wednesday evening. And I'm reading this. It just came up from Adam Schefter. Said, died Wednesday evening. School officials said, this is from Adam Schefter, the cause was not revealed, though the university said police do not suspect foul play. So, again, Luke Knox, who went to Brentwood Academy, younger brother of Dawson Knox, passed away last night at Florida International University. And the family here in Nashville, our thoughts and prayers with them, and just a awful, awful tragedy today.
Awful, tragic story, like you said. Thoughts, prayers to their family, and such a tragic loss for anyone, but especially a local kid from here in Nashville. So thoughts and prayers to the Knox family. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Coming up next, we'll get into your thoughts on the backup quarterback situation. Plus, there's a more important quarterback that we could talk about other than the backup quarterback, and that is Ryan Tannehill. Do we see a difference in Ryan Tannehill in this offseason? We'll get into that coming up next. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Caroline Fenton, Big Joe Dubin in for Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. It's 102.5-106.3, The Game.
Hey, this is Phil Forsberg. And this is Smashville.
Forsberg a shot, broken up in front, give it back to Forsberg, and here come the hat.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 1025 The Game.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Here are a few quick divorce tips that we provide our clients. Number 1, don't move out of your house just because your wife tells you to. Remember, that's your house too. And number 2, don't blow through the financial statements that you file with the court. These are key exhibits, and they often make or break your case. And number 3, watch the social networking. Expect your wife's lawyer to do a thorough online search. And incidentally, this is a two-way street. Now, a bonus tip. Partner with your attorney in assembling evidence. You're one of the 2 leading experts on your life and marriage. Your attorney needs your input to achieve your goals. And finally, talk to your attorney before taking action. Good luck.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Nashville area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. Cordell & Cordell, 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Ford South. We all know that you're not supposed to wear white after Labor Day. So with that in mind, we're discounting all of our white vehicles. Well, maybe we should just discount the lighter colors that are close to white too, and maybe the red and blue ones since we celebrate this in America. Okay, fine. I'll discount all the cars, starting right now. On top of that, we want to celebrate all of your hard work with the most American lunch we can think of. Hot dogs. Hot dogs all day on Labor Day. So come kick your feet up, get a new car of any color, and enjoy a hot dog. You can even shop online for a new car with Newton Fast Pass. But you'll have to make your own hot dogs that way. Sorry. Visit NewtonFortSouth.com to learn more.
312 Pizza Company is Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria, and they're now hiring. Work for a family-owned business and be a part of their incredible team. 312 Pizza Company is hiring for all positions, including host, waitstaff, bartenders, cooks, and more. 312 Pizza Company offers health insurance and paid time off to full-time employees. Contact Kimberly at 615-730-7888 or email at contact@312pizzaco.com. 312 is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, what's up? It's Chase McCabe here to tell you about my drink of the summertime. You know it, Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball is the first and most awarded peanut butter whiskey in the world, and it's an original, just like me, the suit. I take Screwball as a shot, but it's great on the rocks in an old-fashioned, an espresso martini, and many other recipes. So next time you're out and about, ask for Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022 Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Your home for Hit City is 94.9 The Fan.
Your Nashville Sounds continue their series in Jacksonville. Swing and a miss, strike three. Sounds win.
Pre-game at 5:50 on your home for Sounds Baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey Nashville, this is Laura Rutledge from the SEC Network, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
With Tannehill, we've seen him. He's been so much more vocal. He gets it, okay? He's been in this league. He's 34. He's been in this league. He's been traded once by the team that drafted him. He understands that last year's not good enough. I asked Pat O'Hara in the offseason about, how they, what their plan was for dealing with the interceptions. And the answer I got was, well, Teresa, we just moved on, essentially. And I think that's where Ryan Tannehill is. He's putting last year behind him. He understands that they drafted Malik Willis. He has a very big, cap number this year that makes it tough. But, next year it'd be a little easier if they wanted to move on from him. So, he's trying to prove and show that he's the quarterback for this team. He's been vocal, telling people, there was a receiver he didn't connect with on Monday. He was over there talking and almost moving around, trying to show what he was looking for and maybe how to better play that, the play. And let's not forget, he was a decent wide receiver, not as a receiver coming into college, but as a quarterback who was good enough to play wide receiver and then go back to be quarterback. So to me, it's him trying to seize control of this team because it's his future absolutely at stake. He's been a leader, and they talked about his leadership since he moved into the starting lineup in October 2019. It just feels like he's taking even more vocal ownership. Even though he says he doesn't feel he's being more vocal, he's absolutely speaking up and making clear to all these new people around him what he's expecting.
That was Teresa Walker this morning on Robbie and Rex Road. She was asked, do you think that this is a different Tannehill? Do you think Tannehill's taking a step up in terms of leadership and being more vocal and taking more ownership of the offense? It's something that we've discussed really all throughout training camp, that we said yesterday Tannehill just looked really confident. That's something that I don't think that I was able to say about Ryan Tannehill, at least last season. So I at least see a confidence difference in Ryan Tannehill. And I do think that probably is rooted in feeling more ownership and feeling more leadership over this offense.
Look, a loss, it burns. The way it happened burns. I mean, it doesn't motivate you and wants you to come back harder and make a difference at what happened against the Bengals. Then you're just kind of lost, and he said it hurt and that he was going to come out here and put the team on his back, in so many words and do that. And so far we've seen that. I mean, we've seen that yesterday he was fantastic. And you see it when he goes against the defense, the ones for the Titans. He's been really good. And so, you go through a tough time. You come out on the other side. You can be a better person. You can be more defined. And, it burns. He must get back and take this football team far. And, if we didn't see an improvement from him and he came out here and he was lackadaisical, you'd be like, all right, there's something going on. But you've been here more than I have. But what I've seen of him, I've been out here, he's been fantastic.
Are you buying it? Do you think that he's more confident, more vocal, more of a leader?
Absolutely. Yep. I think they've talked to him and said, look, we need this from you. I think Vrabel and them said, look, we believe in you. We back you up. We love you. You're our guy.
Mm-hmm.
And does wonders. There was no like, oh, this guy, what's going to happen? It's like, hey, let's go out. Vrabel's been very clear about his praise for Tannehill, and so is John Robinson. So I think when you got the guys behind you who make all the big decisions backing you up, I think it can only be a plus for you.
And I'm with you because I see it. I see it on the field. I see it off the field. I see it in his media availabilities. It's more ownership. It's saying he's making plays for me, my guys.
Yeah.
And you can tell on the field he is so much more vocal. And I do wonder, where did that come from? Teresa Walker mentions Malik Willis. And she mentions that she thinks that this is, I think Tannehill recognizes that it really is put up or shut up time for him, that his career is on the line. And I don't disagree with that. I think that Ryan Tannehill understands that. I don't know if necessarily he viewed Malik Willis as, okay, like this guy coming in is going to take my job.
Right.
I think it was more so, I just threw away a playoff game. That John Robinson was in tears at the combine because he knew that they were so close to the Super Bowl, and Ryan Tannehill single-handedly lost them that divisional round of the playoff game. So I do wonder where it came from. Was that an external conversation that he had with Mike Vrabel? That Mike Vrabel said, hey, I need you to be the leader of this offense.
I think so.
Or did it come from internally? Is it an intrinsic motivation that he said, hey, I threw this season away last year. We could have made the Super Bowl. We could have won the Super Bowl if we had gotten past that divisional round of the playoffs. So I do wonder, external, internal, where did it come from?
You look at his career, even at A&M, he was a wide receiver at A&M. I think until his junior or senior year, then he became a quarterback.
Yeah.
I think he was drafted first by the Dolphins. And he had some success down there. I can imagine if you're a quarterback in Miami when one of the administrator is Dan Marino, who's at every practice and looking down. It's just kind of be a weird feeling, one of the best quarterbacks ever. But you've got to rise above that. And he had some decent years down there, getting injured in 17, and then they kind of lost faith in him and going into 18. They got traded here in 19, and then when he got his opportunity, Carolina in 19, again, I'll bring it up, after Mariota had one of the worst performances of a starting quarterback I've ever seen in professional football against the Denver Broncos, they had to make that connection. They had to make that say, all right, Marcus, you're gone. Bring Tannehill in. He led in the AFC Championship game. They go to the playoffs in 20. They get beat, I know, by the Ravens. 21, they get beat last year by the Bengals. So, yeah, you got 2 years of mediocrity in the playoffs, and I think he knows this, and I think he also knows this could be it. Mm-hmm. This could be it for him. If they go 8-9 and make the playoffs, he's done. But if they go 14-3, make a nice run in the playoffs, he's coming back. And I think what it is now, it's up to you, Ryan Tannehill, to see how far you want to go and how far you can take this football team. It's up to you, bottom line.
And the encouraging thing is, Ryan Tannehill's been there before.
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill has had to play for his career before. When he first got to Tennessee and he played his butt off and he won the starting job over Marcus Mariota, he knew what it took to save his career. And I think he's in a very similar spot here, that he understands, to your point, you go 8-9 and you lose, you don't make the playoffs, you lose in the wild card round of the playoffs, you probably are not the quarterback of the future of this football team. But one thing that I kind of have a question about is, you can compare last year and this season and say, okay, well, last season, Tannehill wasn't as vocal of a leader, he wasn't as confident, and the offense took a step back. This year, you could say, okay, he's playing more of a leadership role, he looks more confident, and it could encourage you for what this offense can be in 2022. But where was his leadership and confidence and ownership of the offense in 2019 and 2020 when the Titans had a top 10 offense in the league in both of those years? Was he just as confident and vocal then, or is this a new thing this year? Did Arthur Smith play that leadership role? And was Arthur Smith vocal enough that Ryan Tannehill didn't have to step up? And without him last year, Ryan Tannehill kind of played his same role that he had played in 19 and 20.
Right.
But he didn't have that vocal leader?
I think with Derrick Henry on the team, you knew what team this was. This is Derrick Henry's football team,
but
right?
Is Derrick Henry a vocal leader?
No, really.
I've never seen him get up in people's faces and get angry.
No, not at all. Which is fine if you want to be. That's totally fine. But the quarterback, that was a knock on Mariota, Carolina, is that he was not a leader. Mm-hmm. He was not going to get out there. If a guy ran the wrong route, he would just clap his hands like, yeah, we'll get him next time. And that's not what a football team needs. I mean, we go back. David Beauclair told us last week we had him on about 19 when the joint practices when Brady was out here, how Brady was just coaching those receivers the entire, good and bad, was just coaching them all the time. I saw Tannehill yesterday doing that with a few receivers and talking to them, which I didn't see in the years past. So, you're quarterback. You got to know you're going to be a leader of this football team. And so I think we've seen him kind of take that under his wing, like, all right, now it's up to me. I know we got Derek out here, but this is my team, and I'm the one that lost the game for us in the playoffs. And if we're going to ride or die, it's going to be up to me. And so, again, I go back to yesterday, watching how fantastic he was, leading the football team against a very good Tampa football team. And so far today, he's picked up where he left off yesterday.
And that's another thing, that Tannehill was going up against Tampa Bay's ones on defense. The Titans' defense were not going up against Tampa Bay's ones. Chris Godwin out, Russell Gage out, Mike Evans out, obviously.
Right.
Tom Brady out.
Yeah.
So you can feel confident about the defense going up against the 2s and the 3s. But let's not get that twisted that Ryan Tannehill was going up against Vita Vea and Devin White in this really talented Tampa Bay defense. So, I mean, that's encouraging. But I do wonder another thing is that a training camp thing for Ryan Tannehill?
That's a good point.
Is he going to get out there on a field and in pressure? When he's pressured, he throws an interception, which isn't inevitable. It's going to happen at some point. Is he going to be able to retain that confidence and that level of leadership?
Well,
and that's what I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's what I fear going into the season.
Well, that Giants game, the first game, if he comes down and throws in, can you imagine an interception on the first play of the game?
Giants.
First
against
game.
the Giants.
An interception, first play. I'd be
God,
like,
what a wonderful sandwich on the end of last season and the beginning of this one.
But you hope he goes out there and
nice little
just
pick Sammy.
lights it up, and they roll. Of course, they got to go to Buffalo, and then the Raiders come here in week 2 and 3, and so he's got to get it done. So it all leads up. So if he can take, all the times you hear about, well, if he can take with the practice field to the regular season game, and if he can do what he's doing now, I think the Titans have no worries. But we'll have to see on that September 11th when the Giants roll in here.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll go to your phones. Phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll take your calls, your texts if you have a thought. But Megan texts in about Logan Woodside and says, is this a sudden thing for Logan Woodside, or has he gradually been getting a bit worse and this season has just brought out a drastic drop? I can't answer that question because Titans fans have been so lucky that they haven't had to see Logan Woodside.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know if I can really tell you that it's a step back or it's a gradual change or it's a drastic change, because I just haven't seen him. The last time that I saw Logan Woodside before this training camp, I think was the last training camp, the last preseason game.
Yeah, he's never taken a snap in a pro game, but
is that he's never taken a snap in a pro game?
According to his stats, I've never seen him take a snap in a pro game, in an NFL game. Yeah,
it's pretty wild.
Yeah. So, but he's ran the scout team the last couple of years, so he knows the speed. He knows what's going on out there. I mean, the scout team, you just don't stand there and be blocking damage. You can actually run an offense. It's the opposing team's offense, but you're still going against the Titans' number ones when you run the scout team. And I just don't know. They're comfortable with him. They've said that. They know he probably won't lose a game for him. I'm not sure they know if he can win a game for him. I know that doesn't make much sense, but hey, they've moved back in front of us right now.
Oh, good.
Ones on ones.
Good. Ones on ones. Who's out there?
It looks like Tannehill's out there, and they're going to
receivers out there.
Yeah, there is.
Okay, so Tannehill dropping back.
Akine. He got sacked.
Tannehill sack.
Akine was running there. Kyle Phillips was running with the ones. And I'm not sure who else out there, because there's only about 1 billion people in front of us. But that's okay, though. Let's go to training camp.
And again, I do believe that Dylan Radins is on the sidelines and Tannehill is not. Take that for whatever it is worth.
Yes. Yeah, they're just getting some good work.
Yes, take that for whatever it is worth. But yeah, the Titans out there running 11 on 11 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Coming up next, we'll get back to your phone calls, 615-737-1025. Your thoughts on the Titans quarterback situation. Plus, there's another quarterback that's been making headlines around training camp. I want to get into that as well, because this is a quarterback that always seems to find his way into the headlines. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. It is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 1025-1063 The Game.
2, 3, 4, look. High school football is here. Join Big Joe Dubin every Friday night at 6 for the Game Blitz, presented by Apple Collision Centers.
Just a small sample of these great coaches in our area.
We'll go around the mid-state for scores and reports on all the big games.
If I'm a high school coach, I want the challenge.
The Game Blitz is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
Certainly a drier day out there today with mostly sunny skies for the entire area. Rain chances pretty much nil as temperatures warm into the upper 80s, a few low 90s thrown in for good measure. For Fox 17, I'm Code Red meteorologist Zach Covey.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hey Nashville, it's Jared, and there's a new go-to for home furnishing.
The summer clearance sale at Social Furniture, where all furniture is reduced in every department. Designer sofas from $5.99 and leather sofas from $7.99. Queen bedroom sets with queen bed, dresser, and mirror from $11.99. They come in solid, cherry, oak, and gray. Casual 5-piece dining room sets starting at $3.99, and formal dining sets starting at $5.99. Sealy, Stearns & Foster's, Simmons, Serta, and Purple Mattress, all sizes on sale.
Social Furniture on the west side is independently home-owned furniture store in Nashville. Forget the big box stores. Shop local, shop social. They have all the best brand mattresses, sofas, recliners, love seats, sectionals, coffee tables, and more with no waiting. They will deliver it the same day. That's with everything at Social Furniture. Enjoy new furniture now with no waiting. Shop local, shop social. 5412 Charlotte Avenue near White Bridge Road, and tell them Jared Stillman sent you.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
A new Dick's Sporting Goods warehouse sales store is now open in Franklin at Watson Glen. Get ready to score up to 70% off thousands of items from your favorite athletic brands. Check out can't-miss deals for the entire family, including tees, tanks, shorts, leggings, footwear, golf apparel, and more. Plus, new styles arrive weekly, so there's always more from the best brands. Check out your new Dick's Sporting Goods warehouse sales store for the grand opening celebration, August 19th to the 21st in Franklin at Watson Glen.
Robbie Stanley.
They get a lead in that game and just totally close the door.
Joe Rexrode.
If he plays next year, it's disastrous.
Robbie and Rexrode. Mornings from 6 to 10 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Fulton with the other corner, 26.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Caroline Finch and Joe Dubin hanging out at St. Thomas Sports Park, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are here. The Titans are hosting them for a joint practice. At the break, Tannehill threw 2 deep balls, one to Kyle Phillips that was highly contested. He was in double coverage. It was a great pass from Ryan Tannehill that Kyle Phillips wasn't able to hold on to, and then another nice deep pass to Racey McMath, and that was all on Racey. That drop was on Racey. It was right in the hands of Racey McMath, right on the sidelines. He wasn't able to pull that one in. But now I believe, who is that? Big Game Blaine?
Yep.
In there at quarterback, so we'll get to see a little bit of a look at the Titans' defense. But as that is going on, I wanted to break down some big story that came out around the league about a certain quarterback that always seems to find his way into the headlines, and that is a certain Aaron Rodgers. Because Aaron Rodgers has voiced his frustrations for going on, years now. He's voiced his frustrations to the Green Bay Packers organization about the lack of weapons and the lack of receivers that he felt that he had. So, they, again, did not address that in the first round. I believe they didn't address it in the first round. Whatever it was. Right. The Green Bay Packers did not address the need for wide receiver, at least to the level that Aaron Rodgers wanted it to be. And Aaron Rodgers spoke on Tuesday after training camp, had some pretty choice words to say about that wide receiver core. This was Aaron Rodgers after practice on Tuesday.
The young guys, they got to, especially young receivers, we got to be way more consistent. A lot of drops, a lot of bad route decisions, run the wrong route. So we gotta get better in that area. Keep dropping the ball, you're not gonna be out there. So it's gonna be the most reliable guys that are out there. The preparation and the job responsibility is most important. There's gonna be physical mistakes that we talked about, but if you're going out there and dropping the ball and somebody else behind you is in the right spot all the time and catching the ball, that guy's going to play. It's coming up. Yeah, it's coming up. It really is. We're going to play our best guys, when the season starts. And whoever those guys are going to get the reps. And it's the guys I trust the most and the guys that the coaching staff trust the most. And a lot of it is just the simple responsibility in the offense. Way before, body positioning and movement and the throw and all that stuff. Are you in the right spot at the right time? Are you running the right route?
Again, that was Aaron Rodgers after Green Bay Packers training camp on Tuesday.
Sick of that guy.
Calling out the wide receivers. And look, I understand a lot of people have issue with what Aaron Rodgers said there. I do think a part of that is because everyone just has Aaron Rodgers fatigue and is sick of his stuff.
His drama last year of holding the team at bay, pretty much hostage, but that's okay. I'm just sick of this guy and his drama. He's won one Super Bowl. He's been a career overachiever. They've been to, 4 or 5 championship games, only one Super Bowl, though. Sick of him. I'm sure those guys, I'm sick of him, too. Yeah, I just, when you put yourself more than the football team, then I'm not a fan anymore. And so every time I hear his name, I just cringe.
Well, and I understand a lot of people have an issue with what he said, essentially, airing the family drama to everybody and letting everyone know his frustrations. But honestly, I don't really have a problem with what Aaron Rodgers said. I don't really have a problem with Aaron Rodgers holding his receivers accountable and saying, look, they're not doing what I need them to do. If you're dropping balls and you're not running the right routes in practice, then you're not going to be playing on Sundays, and that's just the reality. So I honestly, I would feel hypocritical criticizing Aaron Rodgers for what he said after so many times I've complained about the Titans not saying anything. About Mike Vrabel making everything seem so, neither net positive or net negative, just everything is fine. We talk all the time and almost joke about how they say so much without saying anything and how badly we just want to know exactly how they feel about a certain player, a certain position group, a certain game, a certain interception, whatever that might be. We want to know context. So that's exactly what Aaron Rodgers was doing, saying, hey, I'm holding my receivers accountable, and I'm sending out the message to you, all of the guys in my receiver room, that if you don't do what I ask you to do, you're not going to be on this football team.
Yeah.
And as a quarterback, I don't have an issue with that.
I just wish you say, there's ways to say that without saying that. We got a long way to go. That's what camp is for. We'll get there. Look, Devontae Adams, I know he got paid a lot by the Raiders, but the uncertainty of how long Rodgers is going to stay in Green Bay probably drove him to leave this team.
I don't blame him for leaving.
Exactly. And then
reunite with your college quarterback, get paid.
Yep, all that.
Vegas is more fun than Green Bay.
We sure about that? Yes.
Never been to Green Bay, but I feel pretty confident saying that.
Oh, it will be, but it's like every time there's something else with him, just after I get what you're saying from the media perspective, all right, we like this, we like what he's saying.
Yeah.
But it's just Rodgers. It's sometimes he just speaks just to be speaking. It's oh, man, please shut up. There's a way to say this. Look, we got a long way to go with this football team, and the receivers aren't where we need them to be right now. But we're working hard. Give me a little positive from me. But we're working hard. We're coming together. We'll be okay eventually. And so I don't know. It's a bad look that I think him out there calling those guys out.
Well, and I do think that there's a double-edged sword with this, and it could go one of two ways. Either one, Aaron Rodgers calls out his receivers, and I'm a young receiver. I'm a rookie, second-year, third-year receiver in the league, and I hear my quarterback calling me out for not running the right routes. I say, well, I got to get my butt in shape, and I better go out there and deliver for my quarterback. And maybe that's fuel to the fire, and it kind of, it makes them want to work harder. But there's also a really unfortunate other side of that, to where more of a veteran receiver might hear that and say, you know what, man, screw you. I don't need you calling me out to the media and, saying bad things about me. And I think that it could go one of two ways, and I don't think that there is a middle, because it could either fuel your guys or it could start to tear apart the locker room.
I totally agree. By the way, they're doing the 2-minute drill in front of us, so the Titans are in front of us right now with the backups and everything. I'm a guy that loves to see fine hair on guys because I have no hair. Cody Hollister for the Titans has a beautiful head of hair. Now take that for what it's worth.
He really does.
But is it not, Junie? It's a beautiful head of hair. Am I wrong?
He's got some luscious locks. I'm not gonna lie.
I'd keep him on the team just for the hair, just for the simple. You send him out for all the team events and people will gawk at. Beautiful hair. I don't know if he makes a team at receiver or not, but
Joe, are you having some hair envy?
Hair envy.
He's got a nice head of hair, though. We'll have to get you a wig, Joe. A Cody Hollister replica.
I'd love that. If I could grow a mullet, I would in a heartbeat. I would grow a mullet. But man, that is fantastic.
That
right
is
there.
a good head of hair. But to Aaron Rodgers, it could potentially, it could energize the team or it could split the locker room apart. And I think that all comes down to, do you understand Aaron Rodgers? And can you play for Aaron Rodgers? And Aaron Jones is a player that's played with Aaron Rodgers for several years now. He kind of explained, and this was back in July, mid-July, so this was before all of this happened. He kind of explained what it's like playing for a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers and how you have to take what he says as taking leadership of the offense. This was Aaron Jones on the Rich Eisen show in mid-July.
He's our leader. He gets everybody going. He holds everybody accountable and to a high standard. He expects greatness out of you, and you just got to prove yourself day in, day out with him.
Can you give me an example of how he does that, please, Aaron Jones?
Yeah. So we might be in the huddle, and it might be a certain play called, and he might get up to the line of scrimmage just to see if guys have been in their playbook or studying, change up the play, throw out a signal, and really give him a little chance to communicate. But if you weren't in your playbook, he's gonna know on that play, and then he'll come out and he'll talk to you, pull you to the side, and like, hey, this is why I changed it. I'm testing you, and you see him do it a lot to the younger guys, and then that's how they know, hey, like I gotta gain his trust. I want to be on the field. I gotta know this stuff.
Have you seen him do that to somebody on a certain play? And then when it comes time to actually use it in the game, he uses it to success, and then they kind of share a moment like, remember back in July, back in August, that's why we did it. Have you witnessed that?
I've seen it happen many times, and that's what it's about. In practice, you're not going to be perfect, but you get it down, and you make that mistake, but you don't make that mistake again, and you learn from it. And then when it's time to go execute it, you go execute it, and you look back at those moments, and those are teaching and learning moments, and you thank them. You really thank them for that.
And there was Aaron Jones on the Rich Eisen show saying, hey, he's going to call you out, but that's his version of being a leader. And you mess something up, you don't mess it up again. He holds everyone accountable. And that's how I kind of view Aaron Rodgers calling out his receivers, saying you need to run the right routes. Because if you drop the ball, if you don't run the right routes, if you don't do what I need you to do, you're not going to be playing for this team on Sundays. It's harsh, but nobody's ever accused Aaron Rodgers of being a overly nice guy. So, and I mean, Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, arguably the best quarterback in the league. Green Bay has made it to the NFC Championship so many years, but hasn't been able to get past it. I'd be pretty darn fed up with them if I were you.
What is Rodgers' legacy if he hangs it up? They don't win the Super Bowl this year. He hangs it up. What's his legacy?
In Green Bay or elsewhere?
NFL? Everywhere.
In the NFL?
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. But still, one Super Bowl. He's
Super
Brett
Bowl.
Favre.
Yeah.
On those teams, you probably should have 2 or 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah. I mean, I think that you would look at Aaron Rodgers and say, hell of a quarterback, wasn't able to get teams that could have won the Super Bowl to the Super Bowl.
I mean, there was no excuse, Carolina, that the 49ers.
And also just kind of a cuckoo bird.
There's no excuse. The 49ers should have not beat them. Hell, the Buccaneers 2 years ago should not have beaten them with Brady up there.
No.
I mean, those were home games. And they still couldn't get it done now. So a lot of frustration, I think, coming from Mr. Rodgers, the wannabe actor, GM, whatever, for the Packers.
But I think we talk a lot about Ryan Tannehill taking more ownership and taking more leadership. Aaron Rodgers does that for his team. So I'm not going to say, hey, Ryan Tannehill, embrace this accountability, and then knock Aaron Rodgers for holding his receivers accountable. 615-737-1025 is our phone number if you have a thought on that. But a little bit of breaking news out of the NFL. The official Deshaun Watson suspension has been released. We'll break down that and our thoughts on that coming up next. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, it's Caroline Fenton, Joe Dubin, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Your speaker at home is so smart that even Alexa knows where to find Nashville's best sports talk.
102.5 The Game is Nashville's best sports talk.
Ask Alexa to enable 102.5 The Game. Once enabled, ask Alexa to play 102.5 The Game.
Welcome to 102.5 The Game.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Winning this award is truly like winning the Super Bowl of car dealer awards for Mercedes-Benz.
Edwin Vickery, General Manager of Mercedes-Benz of Music City.
Culture, eat strategy for lunch. You have to hit on all cylinders to win this award. You can strategize all you want. You got to still have the right tools, and our tools are our people.
Live the dream with 3-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best award winner, Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Go to mbofmc.com.
Hi, I'm Chase McCabe. The Nashville Stampede Days are finally here this weekend at Bridgestone Arena, Friday through Sunday. You can get tickets by going to PBR.com or Ticketmaster.com. Nashville Stampede, Justin McBride, the head coach, says he's very excited to add 3-time PBR world champion Silvano Alves to his team.
It's huge, man. That's, we're going to be able to start off the first game with Taiki Pacheco as a world champion, and in that game with Silvano Alves as a 3-time world champion. So Silvano brings a lot of experience, a lot of ability, obviously, but also some great leadership qualities for the young guys. As a guy that's been in a lot of big moments and has won those moments and been successful.
Again, Nashville Stampede Days will take place all this weekend at Bridgestone Arena. Just go to PBR.com/tickets or Ticketmaster.com. I'm Chase McCabe.
Hey, it's Jared for TriStar Moving. If you're looking to move, you need to give my friends at TriStar Moving a call. At TriStar Moving, you'll get 5-star service throughout the entire process. Everything will be taken care of, from covering your floors, banisters, railings, front door thresholds, furniture, TVs, and more. They took great care of my move and made it as stress-free as possible. If you're looking to move, give TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit them at nashvillemoving.org/radio and get 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
This week's Nashville's best deal is Old School Pizza in Brentwood. Right now, get half off a $30 gift card at theGameNashville.com/deals. Old School Pizza features New York style thin crust made fresh to order from imported Italian flour that gives a unique flavor and crunch. Check out Happy Hour every weekday afternoon from 3 to 5 for half off selected appetizers and draft beer. Have pizza the old school way at Old School Pizza in Brentwood. OldSchoolPizzaBrentwood.com.
At CDW, we get the importance of clear communication.
I was on a conference call, and I think my boss asked me to send her roasted beets in a can.
Talk to the experts at CDW. Using Poly headsets and cameras, they'll orchestrate a collaboration solution that lets you hear and see clearly on any device, any meeting platform.
Huh. Looks like she asked me to send her the report sheets when I can. You like beets?
No. IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it. Learn more at cdw.com/poly.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Robbie and Rex Road, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Stoney Company. Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushes.
Awesome Game 7.
Checkered flag in the air. The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willy Donick,
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee,
and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Caroline Caroline Fenton, Joe Dubin hanging out here at St. Thomas Sportsplex. A little bit of a tussle.
Yeah, trying to figure out
It
what
just happened.
happened.
Trying to figure out what happened. We just saw a big, massive huddle. Everyone all going together, whistles blowing, Mike Vrabel pulling people apart. Now, it looks like
They separated.
Separated? They're each in their own individual huddles.
Yes.
Don't know what happened there. Don't know what started it. Didn't see who was in it, but a little bit of a tussle there. Between the Bucs and the Titans.
I always, whenever they fight, from my years of experience covering this team, I always try to find Lawan first.
That's probably fair.
And then, so I'm trying to still locate where he is. He's still back in the fray a little bit here, I don't know. So I don't know what happened. It'll all come out what happened, and Vrabel will say, it's just football, things that have happened. But I think that's it. I think they're done with practice, as it looks like, right?
Are they done?
He's going in.
I guess.
Right now?
I guess no ending to a practice quite like a.
TD just tweeted and said it was Jeffrey Simmons and Leonard Fournette that started it.
Ooh, Lenny.
Oh, Leonard, why would you do
Preseason
that?
Lenny.
Ooh.
What
Here comes
are
our guy.
Doing?
Armani,
what are we doing?
Armani Hooker's coming over right now. They ain't wasting no time.
All right, so we'll chat with Titan safety Amani Hooker coming up in just a bit. But also the biggest news of the day, Deshaun Watson's suspension has been official. He's been suspended for 11 games with a $5 million fine. We'll break down all of that. We'll break down our thoughts on it as well. But coming up now, Amani Hooker joins the show. Appreciate you joining. But first and foremost, the defense going up against the Tampa Bay 2s and 3s this week. Kind of your thoughts on that whenever you heard that Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Russell Gage, Tom Brady, that they wouldn't be making the trip here. How did you yourself and you as a defense feel about that?
We just wanted to make sure that we kept our standard what it is and kept it high. No matter who was out there, we're going to play full speed. We're going to be on top of everything and make sure we're just tight on our details.
How did you feel about the defense today in practice and your performance in practice today as well?
I think we had another good day. We've been stacking days. That was something that we wanted to put emphasis on, is making sure that, if we had a good day, we want to come back and have another one. And I felt great energy out here. We were in the open field yesterday, but now we're in the red zone today, and I think we did a great job.
Amani, what happened out here? Can you tell us what happened just now?
Little competitive guys, getting into it. That's something that we expect, but obviously, we don't want no fights or nothing breaking out like that. But
would you go against Jeffrey Simmons and something like that?
Honestly, I wouldn't. But if I had about 5, 6 other guys with me, we might be able to have a chance.
Caroline made a point about these guys not being here, but last week when you found out Brady's not going to be here, a little disappointing.
Yeah, obviously, last year we went against Brady, and that was great work for us. So obviously, we want to go against the best because they help prepare us for the season and prepare us for what we're going to see. But Blaine was out here; he's giving us a great look, and he did a good job as well.
We talked all the week about you guys, these joint practices and what you get out of it. What's the biggest thing you're taking away from now these 2 completed joint practices with the Buccaneers?
Being able to see different looks, see different receivers instead of just going against Nick Westbrook, Austin Hooper. Seeing different guys, and then also having if we have any mistakes the day before, we can correct it and then come back the next day. And then also we have a game, so you'll be able to go against the guys that you're about to see, and then hopefully be out there, give you the best chance to compete.
Titan safety Amani Hooker is with us. So training camp starting in mid-July. How do you feel the secondary has evolved from then to now?
Our knowledge of the game, our knowledge of the defense, and guys just honing into what we're teaching, our techniques that we want to emphasize, this offseason, and it showed. We have a lot of pass breakups. We got a lot of hands on some footballs getting thrown. So back just details and basics in general.
So you mentioned going up against Nick Westbrook-Akine and Austin Hooper and all of this entire receiver room and all of the pass catchers. Who are some of the younger guys? Maybe Westbrook-Akine. I know he's been on this team for a minute, but him and Racey McMath and Treylon Burks, some of these younger receivers. Who have you seen kind of shine in the passing game as being someone who goes up against them in practice?
Kyle Phillips and Racey McMath.
Phillips, another one. Yeah.
Kyle Phillips, Racey McMath. They're both guys that Racey's been here for a year, but he's been huge improvements from last year and being able to be a deep threat and to catch passes that are coming his way. And then Kyle, his first year being here, being able to not let hands get on him, being able to get open in space and make a lot of catches as well. So they've been doing a great job.
All right, your 4th year with the Titans. Tell me how you've evolved from year to year. Rookie, everything's been thrown at you. Then the second year, the COVID year. Last year was you still kind of get your bearings, everything. Mm-hmm. How much is everything kind of in focus for you now as opposed to, say, the last several years?
The game's slowing down for me. Being able to, see the game slower and then be able to move faster. I feel like Looking at back my rookie year to now, it's a tremendous difference just from knowledge of the game, physical ability, and then the details. And for me, it's just honing in on the details of a play and the defensive coverage.
A lot's been brought up. I know you didn't see yesterday how great Ryan Tannehill was, but in practice, have you noticed a different quarterback out here, or are you just the same guy who comes every day and gives 100%?
I mean, he's a guy who wants to win. He's a winner. I mean, you see that on the game day. He's putting his body on the line, jumping for the goal line. He's taking hits and delivering the pass over the middle. He's a guy that just comes out every day and is competing and trying to be great.
Titan safety Amani Hooker is with us. What grade would you give the defense as a whole for practice today?
Well, I'm gonna give it A for effort. I feel like I'm not sure exactly how everyone played, but just from my perspective, guys are moving around, guys are communicating, and then guys are making plays. That's all we can ask for.
The Titans defense last year was a top 10 in the NFL last year. The defense really was able to put the Titans in a great spot and a great position for the playoffs. How do you build upon that and take that next step in 2022?
It starts now. It started with the start of camp. It started with OTAs, building that team chemistry, building that ability to trust one another, the guy next to you, and trust the man to your left and right, and make sure that we're all on the same page. And then, when it comes down to the game, that we have a high standard.
All right, let me ask you this. So, all right, you guys had this morning, 2-hour practice with the Buccaneers. All right, what's the rest of the day like for you? Because it's not like you take a shower and go home, right? I mean, what's the rest of the day like?
Shower up, get your treatment, get your lunch, and then, we meet, watch film. Special teams watches film. And then position, we'll watch film about the practice we just had, make the corrections, we'll have a walkthrough, and then the day's over.
It just never ends, does it? But Iowa, same thing. I mean, you're used to this, right?
Yeah, there's high intensity, whether it's on the field or in the meeting room. So
you're looking forward to the game. I know practice is a lot of fun, another team, but Nissan Stadium, you haven't been there since January. I know it's a preseason game, but still, it's your home field, man. Still, it's got to be a great feeling to get back over there.
No, it's going to be exciting. Hopefully a lot of fans come out, a lot of fans show out to the game. It's a chance to see a lot of young guys make a lot of plays, and I want to see a lot of guys make some hits as well.
Titan safety Amani Hooker is with us. Looking at the secondary as a whole, you look at Christian Fulton, you look at Caleb Farley, and also Roger McCreary, 3 guys who can really, step up and make a big impact in that cornerback room. What are the things that you've noticed about those 3 guys and how they're able to contribute to the secondary?
They're competitive guys. They're smart guys. They take coaching and they compete. I mean, all we ask for is that you compete and that you're play aggressive, and they've been doing that this whole camp.
How have you noticed Caleb Farley's rehab on his back, on his knee, and being able to reacclimate himself to football?
I mean, I think he's done a great job. During OTAs, he was getting himself back in the rhythm, back in flow. He still had a little gimp in his run, but now, he's running smooth. He's looking faster than I've seen him since he's been here. So I'm just ready to see him go out there and play.
What do you love about Kevin Byard being next to him out there? I mean, he's a guy that we know well here in Middle Tennessee. Didn't get invited to the combine, clawed and scratches his way up to where he is. What makes him special in your eyes? I mean, you're with him every single day, Amani.
I mean, he just wants to be great. I mean, our expectation is, to be the best, and that's the same he has. And I learned that from him as well. And I mean, he just comes out here. His expectation for himself is no mistakes, give up no touchdowns. So, I mean, when he does that, when he lives up to that standard, I have to live up to that standard on my side.
Is it crazy that going into your 4th year here, you've been more time here than you were at Iowa?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy to think about. It doesn't seem like I've been here that long. It's been moving pretty fast, but it's been a nice run here.
That first year, I mean, you come in, you guys go to the AFC Championship game, and that was a crazy season because you guys were kind of average at the beginning, and then you got that great run and everything, and then you've been here all 3 years. You made the playoffs. I know it hasn't been what you guys wanted, but that's a lot of success, even though you haven't gone that deep the last 2 years. But still, you made the playoff. That doesn't happen to a lot of teams, Amani.
It definitely doesn't. I mean, I got a lot of friends that are on other teams, and they haven't been to it one time, and they've been in the league, same amount of my time and more years than I have been. But I'm definitely fortunate. But the goal is the Super Bowl, so we just got to keep itching away and keep knocking them down.
On that note about your leadership, again, Titan safety Amani Hooker is with us. You're entering year 4. Kevin Byard absolutely has been a very vocal leader for this team, for this defense, and also in your position group. How has he helped you, and how have you yourself kind of grown into this leadership role now that you're going into year 4?
Yeah, he was here when I was a rookie, so seeing him being a leader then, and just throughout my time being here, it rubbed off on me, and Kenny Vaccaro being here as well, seeing how he led as well. I just want to step into that role as the starting safety next to him. I didn't want any fall off. I want guys to be able to come to me as well, and not just KB. So I wanted the more leaders we have on the team, the more guys are going to follow the players, and that's what runs the team.
And on the topic of leadership, what kind of leader is Ryan Tannehill?
He's a vocal leader, and he shows it by, the way he plays. Like I said, he's willing to, die for that, 3rd and 3, 4th and 3. He's willing to put his body on the line for the team. Like, guys see that gets us hype on defense. I know it gets the offense hype. And then he's in the locker room. He's dapping everyone up, making sure everyone's ready to go pre-game, pre-practice or post-practice as well.
Have you noticed that? Sorry, excuse me, Joe, but have you noticed him stepping up a little bit more this year, maybe than years past?
Yeah. I think he has. I think it's his confidence. Confidence that this is his team, and that he just has to take us to that Super Bowl.
I got to ask this. You see Jeffrey Simmons. Does he do things that you're like, goodness, this is not human?
Yeah, he does things. I'm glad I'm not an offensive lineman. The way he just tosses these grown men around and then put his foot in the ground and run out, and he does a great job of just flying into the ball. It's crazy.
It's got to make your job a little easier than knowing that pressure that these front 5 guys get on a quarterback. That's the pressure, and they've got to get rid of that ball, and so you're not having to hold your coverage for 15 seconds out there.
Yeah, that's great. The most they can do to disrupt the quarterback, the easier our job is, and our job is when they do throw it that we're on body and that we do make the plays on the balls, because that'll help out our defensive line.
Awesome, man.
Titan safety Amani Hooker is with us. Last one for you. What are your expectations for the season?
Super Bowl. anything less than that, we're gonna be sick about it. So our mentality is to get that ring.
All right, thanks, Amani. Appreciate you for joining us.
Thank you guys so much.
Nice. Appreciate it, buddy.
Appreciate it.
And Titan safety Amani Hooker. Love the attitude. Super Bowl or bust. Love it. Again, Titan safety Amani Hooker joining us on the program. Appreciate him for joining us. But coming up next, a little bit of breaking news. Deshaun Watson's suspension has been official by the NFL, so we'll break down our thoughts on that. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Caroline Fenton, Joe Dubin in for Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. It's 102.5-106.3 The Game.
Join Chase McCain for Chasing Checkers every Sunday morning at 8 for all the news in the world of motorsports.
Joey Logano gets the very first victory in the next-gen car
while hearing from the big names.
Two-time champion Kyle Busch.
Being able to bring NASCAR, the Cup Series, back to Nashville is cool.
It's Chasing Checkers, presented by Ample Collision Centers and the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, it's the summertime. I know everybody likes to be out there and moving at this time of the season, and you want to be moving pain-free, right? Willy Donick here for the team at QC Kinetics. They're helping people every day with this stuff because they've got the cutting-edge advances in regenerative medicine. Long-lasting pain relief is the goal, and the science is simple. They concentrate your own body's healing agents and apply them to your aching joints, restoring and repairing the damaged tissue. No drugs, no steroids, no surgery. QC Kinetics, you hear me talking about it all the time. Those traditional remedies are not the only remedies. You owe it to yourself to learn more about QC Kinetics. They've got clinics here and all over America. So this is exciting and new. Give them a call right now. These local medical professionals, it's a free consultation for you. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics. Once again, 615-249-4024.
At Cordell & Cordell, we focus on representing men in domestic relations cases.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
We recognize that our clients are going through perhaps the toughest time they will ever go through. We understand that everything that's important to them is on the table. Their assets, the role in their children's lives. That's an immense responsibility that our clients entrust us with, and we take that very seriously. We've been trained to do that. We've helped thousands of clients before. And it's our hope that you'll choose to entrust us with what's most important to you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Nashville area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 615-457-8700. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Offices in Nashville, Franklin, Murfreesboro, and Gallatin. Cordell & Cordell, 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067.
When you need electronics or appliances, find great deals in-store or online at Electronic Express. Save big on favorite brands like Samsung, GE, Nintendo, iRobot, and more. Electronic Express has huge savings in every department. Computers, appliances, 4K TVs, smart home, furniture, and more. Save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 36 months free financing. Shop in-store or online at electronicexpress.com and get free express delivery on most items. Electronic Express. We make it happen.
It's on. It's happening.
Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter.
Get out of the way, I'm watching the game.
Presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3. The Game. Appreciate Amani Hooker joining us in that last segment. We'll also hear from Mike Vrabel at the podium very shortly, breaking down his thoughts on practice today. But first and foremost, the biggest news, breaking news, that came out, I believe, first reported by someone named Joseph Pasteris, who, according to his Twitter, is an independent Patriots and NFL reporter, releasing news and updates from the best available sources. And it has been confirmed by Pro Football Talk, also by Dov Kleiman. I don't know who that is, but he's got a blue check mark, so we'll go with it.
Yeah, right.
But it has been confirmed by multiple reliable sources that per the NFL, Deshaun Watson, this is verbatim from the NFL press release, Deshaun Watson of the Cleveland Browns is suspended without pay for the first 11 games of the 2022 regular season, fined $5 million for violations of the NFL's personal conduct policy. In addition, Watson will promptly undergo a professional evaluation by behavioral experts and follow their treatment program. Watson's fine and contributions from the NFL and the Browns of $1 million each will create a fund of $7 million. I don't know how that math works. So Browns $1 million, Deshaun Watson $1 million, and then also on top of $5 million. I'm guessing.
I guess so, yeah. But I wonder why the league hasn't put this out yet. This guy's got it.
It's been confirmed by Pro Football Talk.
Are they waiting for the proofreader to go over before they send it out? I'm not sure what happens. Either way, the Browns
this is on
stupid.
official NFL letterhead.
The Browns are stupid. I mean, they should be suspended for a year. I mean, heavy fine, and the Browns are on the hook for some as well. It's just they know this going. It's not like they did not know this going in. They knew this going in. It's just so dumb. And did you see? We talked last week. You know that I don't know. We can't play it on the radio, but Jacksonville fans were relentless last week when Cleveland played Jacksonville. They were relentless the entire time.
As they should be.
Yes.
And if Deshaun Watson didn't predict that or didn't expect that to happen, then shame on you. And honestly, I love that the Jacksonville Jaguar fans did that because that sets the tone for the rest of the season. And the kicker here, so he'll be suspended 11 games. His first game back, Week 13, Cleveland at Houston.
Oh, my gosh. Are you serious?
That's the kicker. That's his first game back.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my gosh. But kind of reacting to the news of Deshaun Watson, shame on the NFL.
Sure.
Roger Goodell in the NFL came out before Judge Sue L. Robinson ever started her investigation, and the NFL said, we want a season. That's what we would do if we could come up with our own punishment right now is we want a season.
That's always been the standard.
They had the opportunity, and they had a blank slate to be able to say, Deshaun Watson, you have whatever punishment we deem fit. They came out and said a year. They had the opportunity to make it a year, and they made it 11 games.
I don't get it.
What's the point?
I don't get it. It's always been a year. Like, for Bounty Gate, you got a year. It's always been a year suspension for things that happen. Go back. There's a gambling incident in the early 60s. Now, I know I'm comparing apples and oranges, what Deshaun Watson did to what Paul Hornung and these guys in the early 60s had this gambling, this was going on. And so they got suspended for a year. It's always been a year, right? So when they come out and get 6 games for this, it was like, what? Give them the year, pay the fine. That should be the minimum for this. It's just weird that they did not do that.
And to me, I think that anything short of a year shows, okay, it's almost like they're trying to straddle the two lines between pleasing Deshaun Watson's camp and pleasing the Cleveland Browns and also pleasing the court of public opinion who are demanding Deshaun Watson have a longer suspension. But to me, you're not pleasing anybody here because Deshaun Watson is still going to be gone for over half of the season. I think we can officially deem the Cleveland Browns out of AFC contention if Jacoby Brissett is quarterbacking that team for 11 weeks. And then you also have the court of public opinion, or at least myself, and I'm looking at it like, why not a year? What does 11 games do? Right. Why not just give him the full 17, come back with a blank slate in 2023?
That's always been the standard. It's always been the standard. 1 year. 1 year, not 5 games. And you're right. Why 11 games?
at that rate, honestly, just make it 6. Just keep it at 6. And the NFL, and the biggest thing to me is the NFL came out before any of this came out and said, we want a year. We think a year is fit. And I think that Roger Goodell had the great opportunity to be able to prove to everyone, after Ray Rice and after Ben Roethlisberger, to prove to the female fans of the league, to the female employees of NFL teams and broadcasters, women who cover the NFL, who are fans of the NFL, Roger Goodell had an opportunity to stand up to Deshaun Watson and say, we don't tolerate this. We do not, we are going to stand up for the victims who have suffered because of what you did to them, and we're going to stand up and say you're out for a season because we want to be out of the Deshaun Watson business for at least a year. And Roger Goodell had the opportunity to do that, and he didn't take it. And I think that makes the NFL and Roger Goodell honestly look pretty weak.
It's like, you go through a neighborhood and you see the speed limit's 13 miles an hour. You're like, why just make it 15 or just make it 10? What's the purpose of this?
What's the point?
So first thing I saw when that tweet was shared with us, the 11 games, and I was like, huh? What was there something that we're missing? Is there a different benchmark in his pay scale they can take away from it? It just makes literally no sense what's happening there. But you know what, Caroline? I mean, Watson is 100% to blame, but the Browns knew this, and now they're on all that money guarantee. It's a head scratcher why they would go after him and make him part of their team. I don't get it.
Another part of it too is the fine. $6 million total fine for Deshaun Watson. Got him. Ooh, $6 million. Are you kidding me? Deshaun Watson was just guaranteed $240 million, and you are fining him 6?
Yeah, I don't get it.
That's a drop in the bucket. And I
don't
understand his 11 games that he is going to be suspended. That is without pay. But okay, 11 games without pay. Deshaun Watson's also got a pretty healthy paycheck already in his bank. You suspend him without pay for 11 games. You fine him $6 million. Deshaun Watson is not any worse off just because of this fine of $6 million. And I think it is a very bad look on the NFL for continuing to not crack down on things like this.
Deshaun Watson has spoken. He says, I'm grateful that the disciplinary process has ended, extremely appreciative of the tremendous support I've received throughout my short time with the Browns organization. I apologize once again for any pain the situation has caused. I take accountability for the decisions I made. My focus going forward is on working to become the best version of myself on and off the field and supporting my teammates, however possible, while I'm away from the team. I'm excited about what the future holds for me in Cleveland. Signed, Deshaun Watson.
Save it. Deshaun Watson is probably sitting back, and the Cleveland Browns are probably sitting back and laughing.
Oh, now we have the Haslams have responded, the owner.
Oh, I'd love to hear what he has to say.
From D and Jimmy Haslam.
From D.
So he brought the wife in on this one. As we have previously conveyed, Deshaun and his representatives have abided by the NFL and the NFLPA structure awaiting a final decision, and we have respected this process. Now that a decision on discipline has been reached, we understand this is a real opportunity to create meaningful change, and we are committed to investing in programs in Northeast Ohio that will educate our youth regarding awareness, understanding, and most importantly, prevention of sexual misconduct and the many underlying causes of such behavior. Since Deshaun entered our building, he has been an outstanding member of our organization and shown a true dedication to working on himself both on and off the field. We will continue to support him as he focuses on earning the trust of our community. So basically, they already knew the problem that he had before he came there. Now they're saying he's just getting better at it. After saying, hey, put all that behind him, and now let's move on forward. This is just bad.
It's bad. It's a bad look on the NFL, and it's essentially, in my opinion, I know 11 games that your quarterback has 11 games. I understand that the Cleveland Browns are probably out of contention for any sort of playoff hopes this year. But to me, it's almost incentivizing the Cleveland Browns for what they did, for not just bringing in Deshaun Watson, knowing of what he was accused of, and also guaranteeing him all that money. To me, it's such a slap on the wrist on the point of the NFL. And if Sue L. Robinson gave those 6 games, I understood her reasoning behind that. I understood that she really had to approach it with a very technical, legal, only looking at the words in the contract and interpreting that the way that she saw fit. But the NFL had the opportunity to really stick it to Deshaun Watson, and they didn't. And I think that's such a bad look on the point of the NFL.
Well, let me ask you this. I want to get your what do you have think about Haslam adding his wife's name to the press release?
I don't know how much of that is just everything that they say together, or how much of that is, bringing in a little bit of a female voice for PR's sake.
Gotta be.
But I do think that it's probably just any public statement that they make together.
But I've never seen her name mentioned before on anything else.
I believe I have. It would be interesting to see, though, what most of the Browns' PR releases do say.
Yeah.
Because if her name is coming up in them just now, that's pretty gross.
That 100%.
That is pretty disgusting. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Coming up next, we'll hear from Mike Vrabel at the podium, as well as Derrick Henry, some of his comments. We'll get into that coming up next. Caroline Fenton, Joe Dubin, it's Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Titans training camp is underway. Talking Titans? What wide receivers make the team?
Traylon Burks,
The physicality.
Robert Woods,
Route concepts and how to get open. Who starts on the offensive line?
It's a full-on right tackle battle.
What other storylines will stand out?
Malik Willis, some of the best he's looked in camp.
Titans training camp coverage is fueled by Parman Energy. Now hiring fuel drivers. Apply now at ParmanEnergy.com and by USA Hemp Store on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
NFL Week 1s are out. Now's the time to try FanDuel Sportsbook if you haven't already. Joe Rexford here inviting you to get in on the action early this season, because right now new FanDuel Sportsbook customers can get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. And the futures, there are some very interesting ones. How about Dark Horse make the playoffs this year? Can I give you a little Philadelphia Eagles? Might get some good odds on that one in a kind of weak NFC with A.J. Brown on hand. A lot of different ways you can go. Just make sure you're doing it on FanDuel Sportsbook. Fast, easy, safe. Lots of great options. Sign up using promo code Joe102. Place your first bet. FanDuel will give you up to $1,000 back in free bets if you don't win. No better place to get ready for the football season on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, official sports betting partner of the NFL. Again, download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Sign up using promo code Joe102. Get started with your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager. Only refund issued is now a drawable strike. Credit expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
Are you ready for this?
You've never seen the PBR like this. Buckle up for the ultimate weekend in Western sports as the PBR Team Series invades Nashville's Bridgestone Arena, August 19th through the 21st. 8 teams, 3 days, 1 champion. Don't miss your chance to watch history as it's made. Get your tickets now at PBR.com or Ticketmaster.com. PBR Team Series. Bull riding will never be the same.
Hey football fans, Patrick Mahomes here, and I'm here to tell you that with NFL Sunday Ticket only on DirecTV, you can watch your favorite team no matter where you live. Because NFL Sunday Ticket gives you every live out-of-market game every Sunday afternoon. So switch to DirecTV and learn how to get the 2022 NFL Sunday Ticket season included at no extra cost. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
With choice package and above, 24-month agreement required. Call for details.
Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN. Welcome to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Stomach Company is delivered.
There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have 2 choices to hear our great sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators. Scores! Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey Nashville, Trey Wingo here. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Mike Vrabel's up at the podium now, breaking down joint practice number 2 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And has developed, was a runner for us when we needed him to be. And, has really done a nice job in that third down role. He's trying to be involved as a personal protector on the punt team. That's something that he's really wants to try to earn. That's a job that he wants to earn and take pride in. So that's great to see.
Mike, why has the rep count decreased for Logan?
Because, I just think that we have to continue to develop Malik in this system. And we've had conversations with Logan about, his opportunity to compete. But I also feel like, we have to try to see, how quickly we can bring Malik along. And I think that would be the reason why.
What have you
seen over the last couple of days that you hope will translate in Saturday?
In what regards? Are you talking anything specific, or just
anything that stand out to you positively? That
I mean, I think we always would like to be able to run the football and marry our play passes. We hit a couple shots yesterday. I have no idea what it looked like today offensively. Defensively, we got our hands on a lot of footballs. We need to, disrupt the football more. Special teams, it took a step, I think, in a positive direction against the Ravens. It'll be critical against a big, fast unit like Tampa to try to build on that. Really just kind of what we would like to try to do each and every week.
Dylan or Nick or any of them are lunging when they're trying to block. What kind of position does that put?
Who did you reference?
Dylan or really any of them. Dylan, Nick, the offensive lineman, when they kind of lunge when they're trying to block, what kind of position can that put?
In what blocking? Which blocking are you referencing? Is it a run? Is it a pass? Is it inside zone, outside zone?
Run specifically. If they kind of lunge on the initial block, and that kind of put them in a
well, no, I mean, we have to have a style. We have to run off the football. We have to be under control. We understand the movement. We need to redirect and try to latch on. But the defensive linemen are too good in this league, too powerful for us to kind of stand there and waddle off the ball. That's not what we teach. So there's a fine line between running off the ball and losing your balance, especially in some of these when they're moving.
Balance.
Come on, Kayla.
Thank you. With you having 2 joint practices this fall, anything you take from these 2 and maybe say, hey, we're going to switch things around in this next one coming up next week?
We are, yeah. Okay. We're going to split up for team against Arizona. Cliff and I have talked and going to try to give this an idea. I love the one-on-ones. I love some of the 7-on-7 work, and especially in the red zone. Pass rush is good to be able to see a different style. But these guys go hard. I mean, we practice. I appreciate the way they practice. I appreciate the intensity in which they practice. So I'm conscious of that. So we'll try to do a lot of those things. We'll split apart for some teamwork, whether we have a show team or not, or whether we go against ourselves. And we're going to give that a try next week.
Any trending issues out of what the officials were calling?
No, I think they're trying to focus on the rules.
For you, though, were you offsides too much or false running too much?
No, I mean, any penalties is something that we need to eliminate. We'll just try to look at it and make sure the players understand, what's going on. That's okay. Well, I think in that situation, if you take a sack in the first play, it's going to be next to impossible to win the game. We're going to bang a timeout, and now it's like you get tackled in bounds twice, pretty much the game's over. So, not good enough.
Too short on the last play there with no time on the clock. That was.
We were trying to get to the corner. And
given your history of relationship, are you surprised Tom Brady's not out here?
I'm not sure what Tom's got going on.
Jeff was very dominant yesterday. Looked like he had another really solid day today. What are aspects of his game that you still want him to work on even when he's out here kind of wreaking havoc?
Just improve.
Like the intensity of the practices as a whole, and guys maybe keeping their composure until a little bit of a dust up at the end?
I think we should be able to not do dumb shit that hurts the team, and I would say that that's an example of that. You guys are all writing about what that is. That's what that would be.
Okay.
All right. So
not a fan of that.
We heard
not a fan of that, Caroline.
Don't do dumb stuff to hurt the team. And then Mike Vrabel walks off.
That is
He's not happy.
He's lucky that my kids are in school right now, or I would go up and say something to him.
Mike Vrabel is not happy.
He's not. Oh, my goodness. But Jeannie and I were laughing, the on-set engineer here, but some of the questions before, these reporters, Caroline, give these long-winded questions, right?
And then his answer's two words.
I love it, man. That just makes me giggle because for so long I did that, and then you get those two-word answers like, oh, my goodness. But, how do you block? I mean, you're lunging at guys. I don't. Some things just make me laugh. Like, why? Some people ask questions just to ask questions.
And also, I feel like we've learned Mike Vrabel enough.
Right.
That when he answers questions like, we need to do better.
Right.
Like, well, okay, first of all, no, duh, Mike. We understand that. You get sacked in the first play of a 2-minute drill. We understand that
Right,
it's probably
don't
not
do
going to
that.
set you up for the most success. But how do you build on that? How do you fix that? So Mike Vrabel very much so not happy from practice today.
I also love when I don't know who it was, whoever asked the Brady question. Like, what was what's Brady up to?
I don't know what Tom's got going on.
Of course, I mean, but you think Vrabel, even if he did know, he's not going to tell us, and that's none of our business. I mean, that's Brady's personal life. But I just love that somebody shows up. It's for years, in the early years, like when they first got here, 01, 02, 03, 04, some national media would pop in and they would not, the local media would ask the questions, and the national media would come and these press conferences would ask the same question after we've already asked the question. It's like, we're not going to listen to you. We're going to ask these questions on our own after we just asked the questions in the press. It was a weird dynamic for several years until finally the national media just probably, for the most part, quit showing up here and just moved on. But questions like that, that's why I love listening to press conferences, because you just never know what's going to be said and what you're going to hear.
Well, I mean, Vrabel very obviously is pissed. I wonder what was the thing that really set him off today. What was he so angry about today?
You know what?
We didn't get to see a ton of work. We saw Ryan Tannehill get sacked.
Rexrod's going to join us, right, in a little bit?
Yes, Rexroad is going to join us at 12:30, so we'll get his full breakdown of practice. But I wonder, what was it? Was it a bad defensive work that we saw on the far side of the field that we didn't get to see hardly
where he was
any
today.
of? Yeah, okay,
Yep.
okay. So Vrabel was over on the defensive side of the field. There was something that we saw that he didn't like defensively. And that leads me to believe that the Tampa Bay 2s and 3s were beating the Titans 1s. And I don't know that. That's just speculation.
But he's not happy. And
He's
he
not
spent time
happy.
over there.
And if
you
he's
kinda
over
put
with
two
the
and two together.
defense, right. And I don't know how much you really can take away from the defensive side of the field whenever you're not in full pads, whenever you're wearing shorts, and you're not going to get to the quarterback.
Right.
But what happened there is what I want to know. What set him off? What is he so angry about? But another thing that I kind of took away from that bit that we heard from Mike Vrabel, and again, we will have some more of the clips of the some more clips of the Mike Vrabel press conference that we did miss. But one thing that he said was he's had conversations with Logan about the opportunity to compete.
Ooh.
What does that mean?
Ooh.
I think it's, hey, Logan, we want to give you the opportunity to compete, but you're not giving us much to be able to give you that opportunity.
I think it's a Belichick quicker answer with a lot of expletives about get your you-know-what in gear and make this team. Don't let us make the decision for you. I think it's that simple. If I'm knowing Vrabel, we had Chad Brown yesterday talked about, being with Vrabel for a year in New England, Belichick running the linebacker meeting rooms, and just Vrabel soaking that knowledge up, and how Belichick was really quick with his, you need to do this. That's bottom line. No, like, hey, man, can you or will you? I'm sure it was very succinct and to the point of, look, you got to get your act together or else.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll break down some more of what Mike Vrabel had to say. What exactly did he mean about having conversations with Logan Woodside about the opportunity to compete? Because what we've seen from Logan Woodside doesn't look like he's going to have the best opportunity to compete. We'll get into that coming up next. Caroline Fenton, Joe Dubin, it's Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. We are live on 102.5, 106.3 The Game, and you can watch us streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live every day. Our video streaming is brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry.
The Sports Talk doesn't end on Friday. Join Michelle Knezovic every Saturday morning at 9.
I've got my extra large coffee.
As she talks about the big stories of the week.
Predators news, the Tennessee Titans.
And looks ahead to the weekend.
Oh, I'm so excited.
On Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
The mostly sunny skies set to continue through the afternoon with no rain chance in sight today. Highs in the upper 80s, a few low 90s for the metro areas. Overnight, partly cloudy skies, temperatures dropping into the upper 60s. For Fox 17, I'm Code Red meteorologist Zach Covey.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
With your home value up again, you are sitting on a pile of money. So don't let it sit there. Use it. Willy Donick here for my friends once again at Loan Pronto. Introducing Loan Pronto's Equity Line of Credit program. You don't have to refinance, but you can access up to 97% of your home's value. Get cash now to pay off all your credit cards, or do that home improvement project. Get your down payment for a new home, or stash away for a safety net. You can get $50,000, even $100,000 or more out of your home, and the payments are crazy low. Think what you could do with $100,000 right now. Loan Pronto makes unlocking your equity easy, and they can probably even waive the appraisal. Don't just let all that home equity pile up. Turn your house into an ATM machine and get the cash you need. Call Loan Pronto now, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
This is Chef John from Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville. Invite you to come join us for breakfast and lunch. We are offering some exciting new menu items. For breakfast, we have a smoked prime rib hash. Comes with a sunny side up egg, hominy, caramelized onions. It's a great start to your day. We are featuring a sourdough pancake made with a sourdough bread starter. It's a fun spin on classic buttermilk pancake. As always, Kitchen Notes is serving biscuits all day. Come join us and create a memorable experience here at the Omni Hotel. Food is all about memories for us. We'd like you to start a new memory here at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Hotel.
Breakfast at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
I had low back pain that was due to herniated discs.
Meet Dr. Justin Garzone, another satisfied patient who found regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics.
Over a very short period of time, the pain went away completely, and I have had absolutely no symptoms or pain since my treatment.
Before Dr. Garzone found QC Kinetics, he was looking at all the old school pain treatments.
It was recommended that I have steroid injections done, but then unfortunately my insurance company said that I would have to do 3 months of physical therapy first, and I needed to get better quickly.
With QC Kinetics, the doctor got lasting relief with no downtime.
I didn't have to take any medications during my treatment. I avoided surgery, and I am now pain-free.
Don't live with chronic pain, and don't go under the knife. Call QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024.
Genesis Diamond's most extreme value on diamonds is coming to an end. You have until Sunday at 5 p.m. to get the price of a lifetime on a certified GIA diamond ring.
Response has been incredible. People have driven for hours to buy like a dealer buys. All GIA certified diamond rings are on sale. A full 20% discount off Genesis' amazing everyday value price.
We're talking values you never thought possible. From a half carat to 20 carat diamonds, all hand-picked for maximum brilliance and all graded by the most prestigious gem lab in the world.
Don't be surprised to see jewelry store owners and diamond dealers shopping alongside you.
Rounds, ovals, princess cuts, cushion cuts, emerald cuts. Genesis has the largest GIA diamond selection you've ever seen.
And now through Sunday, you can take advantage of this rare buying opportunity. Limit one per customer, please.
Get the Genesis no middleman direct importer price minus an extra 20% on all GIA diamond engagement rings. Now through Sunday only at Genesis Diamonds.
Green Hills and Cool Springs.
See store for details.
Jared Stillman.
This is a team that the entire city is losing their minds over.
Caroline Fenton.
It's one of the youngest teams in the league. They don't have a single player over the age of 30.
Stillman and Company. Afternoons from 2 to 6.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I would say that the first 8 plays weren't very good. They ran it 8 straight times. I don't think it was, the run defense that we expect. But I think they settled down. I think they, did better in, in the red zone stuff. I thought it was much more competitive down there. But when they handed the ball off 8 straight plays, I didn't. That's not what I expect from our defense.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. That was Mike Vrabel at the podium after practice. But hey, tune in for the Nashville Sounds baseball tonight at 6:05 p.m. on 94.9 The Fan. The Sounds are on the road facing Jacksonville, the AAA affiliate of the Miami Marlins. Sounds baseball at 94.9 The Fan, presented by 312 Pizza and Farm Bureau Health Plans. Mike Vrabel was just at the podium, and he was pissed.
He was.
He dropped a bad word. and then walked off at the podium. And, Joe, you pointed out that Mike Vrabel was at the defensive side of the field for the entirety of practice. He mentioned there in that clip that it wasn't the run defense that we expect. I almost just said Indianapolis. I don't know why.
Right.
Tampa Bay ran the ball on the other side of the field 8 straight times. Mike Vrabel said it was not the run defense that you expect. So essentially, I think he's saying the run defense is bad.
Yeah. I mean, but again, yesterday they looked really good. So I don't know. I mean, you don't want to keep
But I
the
wonder how much
consistency
did they
up.
run the ball yesterday? I wasn't
True.
on the defensive side of the field.
Me
I looked at
neither.
the offense yesterday. But a lot of the discussion yesterday, because Jared was at the defensive side of the field, a lot of our discussion yesterday was about the corners. Was about Caleb Farley,
Right.
Roger McCreary, Christian Fulton had a great day yesterday. So that leads me to believe that they probably didn't run the ball a whole heck of a lot yesterday.
I just go off what Byard said
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, how we really stood up, we played good, really dominated out there yesterday. So I kind of look, all right, if Byard...
Defense as a whole.
Yeah, if Byard thinks they played bad, he'd probably say they played bad. That guy's pretty much an open book when it comes to talking to us. So, Vrabel not happy with that and walking off. That's how he left his press conference, by cursing. So I'd like for him to come over and apologize to us for the language.
I'll let it slide.
Will you today?
But yeah, don't do dumb stuff that hurts the team. He
Yeah.
said that a lot. What exactly did he mean today?
Well,
was that the fight? Was he mad about the fight? Is
well-
that the dumb stuff that hurts the team?
I think that was the very last play.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure, but he talked about penalties.
Mhm.
You know, penalties, and we see the flag on the ground the last 2 days. There are quite a bit over there. So maybe it's the penalty part about this. It's like, all right, we should be much better than this. You know, we're a couple weeks out from the first game of the season, and we're making these dumb mistakes. There's penalties happening. I'm sure it's frustrating. But again, what head coach come out and say, you know what, man, that's best practice I've ever seen. I got nothing bad to say about this practice today.
That
But
one for sure isn't going to say that.
Right. So we'll talk to Joe Rexroad here in a moment, who watched the practice in its entirety and give us a better look of what happened today with these guys. But it's over. Now they focus on the game on Saturday night with the preseason game, where we're going to see basically nothing, right? Do you start Woodside Saturday night?
That's a good question. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe that's because Vrabel's at that press conference, and that was something that really stuck with me. Was we've had conversations with Logan's opportunity to compete. So that to me makes me think that they think and they feel the same way about Logan that we do.
Yeah.
Because so much of our conversation has been, well, Logan Woodside looked so bad, but also they've had opportunities to move on from Logan Woodside, and they haven't. And there might be a certain trust level with Logan Woodside, his understanding of this offense and his understanding that if he's asked to go into a game, that they trust him enough to not throw the game away. Maybe they don't feel that anymore based off of what they've seen from him so far in the preseason games and also in practice. Do you start Logan Woodside and say, look, this is your last shot.
Yeah.
We need you to take care of the football. You play one half. And then you put Malik Willis in the second half, so he's going up against the threes
I think it's only
in the
fair
preseason game.
you let Woodside have the same opportunity that Malik Willis had, and then then you get another week of practice with the Cardinals and with the preseason game. You can figure it out and which one goes. I'm looking over the side because Jeff Fisher's at practice. All right, now for many years out here, Jeff
What
Fisher.
an interesting dynamic.
It is. So his last year was 2010. I covered all those years from the 2000s to he was let go after the 2010 season. It's just weird seeing him out here. He's got a long sleeve shirt on, jeans. I don't know if he knows.
And flip-flops, I think. He's got a nice little Matthew McConaughey look going.
That it's the mid-'90s out here doing that. I'm not sure. I don't know what he's doing. He's in front of a camera down there. I'm not sure what. It's just odd, Caroline, to see that guy for so long. You saw him out here. And I was talking to somebody else earlier. When Fisher was here, there was a lot of open book here. I mean, you could go after the team during training camp. After the team was out of the cafeteria, they'd feed you. They'd feed the media. Steak. I mean, it was fantastic. And then it all evolved, and you could shoot all this practice. And then it came, as the NFL evolved and the coaching situation evolved here, it became you couldn't shoot anything. You shoot 15 minutes stretching in a position group workout, running backs, wide receivers, and it's a change so much. So every time I see him, I'm thinking like we had the opportunity. We could shoot the entire practice. It was just weird. It was a different time, and that was only 10, 11 years ago.
And I would say that's less of a Jeff Fisher thing and more of just the day and age that we're living in the day and age of social media, and everything is so hush-hush and everything is reported so quickly with zero filter.
I got a question for you.
Yes,
okay?
I have an answer.
And I remember, I forget who I was with, argued to me up and down that they might do this. All right, first game of the year is the New York Giants, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Would you send, say the Giants have an open practice, right? Saturday night, they have or say today they have an open practice. Would you send 2 members of your Titans scouting team to that open practice?
Probably.
You can go.
Yeah.
I've had people tell
you?
me, no, that's unacceptable and you shouldn't do that. I'd send everybody in the world there.
Why wouldn't you?
I agree.
If they're not going to stop my scouts at the door, then yeah, absolutely. Why?
Yeah. It's an open practice.
And also, we see clips on social media all the time, even if it's just drills.
Right.
I've seen clips on social media of Giants receivers looking horrendous.
Right.
Those things are going to get out no matter what. And these reports and post-game presser or post-practice pressers, all of those things are going to come out. So why not?
Well,
why wouldn't you send someone? Why wouldn't you give yourself the leg up that you could?
They had guests
the
out here today, right? The Titans in the last 2 days, and they can shoot all practice. Media were not allowed to only shoot so much in practice, but so they can shoot as much as they want and see that. So I was always saying, whatever team you're playing, go visit their training camp. If it's open, go see it.
Why not?
And it's like, no, that's unacceptable, and you can't. No, man, you go if the opportunity is there and it's not illegal. You're not taping the walkthrough like the Patriots did in the Super Bowl or whatever with their documentary crew in the press box and all that. I'd go do that. I just don't know why people would be like, that's unacceptable. No, man, you got to find every avenue you can to win within the legal scope of things when it's fair and legal to do that. So, good. Thank you for being on Team Joe.
I do not see the problem in that. But again, Mike Vrabel took the podium just shortly, and he walked off. He looked very obviously upset. And one thing that stuck out to me was his conversation with Logan Woodside. Is Logan Woodside, has he done what he needs to do? Can this team trust him enough? Mike Vrabel took the podium earlier and talked about why Logan Woodside's been taking fewer reps. For example, Malik Willis took a majority of the second-team reps yesterday, took a majority of the second-team reps today. Why is that?
Mike, why has the rep count decreased for Logan?
Because, I just think that we have to continue to develop Malik in this system. And we've had conversations with Logan about, his opportunity to compete. But I also feel like, we have to try to see, how quickly we can bring Malik along. And I think that would be the reason why.
So they have to continue to bring Malik along. And I do think, and I've always wondered how the Titans wanted to weigh this backup quarterback situation, because we'll say it now here. Malik Willis is not ready to be the backup quarterback of this football team.
No.
If he's your backup, and you could say, you might bring him in as a backup and, let him come in for certain reps and use him almost as a elevated running back and put him in 4th and 1 situations, 4th and goal situations, absolute must-have yard situations. You could have him come in and be almost like a pseudo running back in those kind of situations. You might look at that if you don't want to carry 3 quarterbacks, but let's say Ryan Tannehill gets injured in the middle of the game. I don't feel confident enough for Malik Willis to be able to get in there, protect himself, protect the rest of the receivers, and to be able to maintain whatever sort of lead the Titans may have.
As we've said earlier, if the hot take I had earlier, if Woodside is bad and Willis doesn't really establish himself, this week you got to get another quarterback. If Vrabel's telling us about Woodside and you got to do better, and we had conversations with that, you got to do better, but there's no way. And I wouldn't, I know you look what Cordell Stewart did for the Steelers. They put him in because he's athletic, he's dynamic and all that. I don't think Willis is even anywhere near the level of a Cordell Stewart right now.
He's not, and that's fine. That's okay. But Mike Vrabel's saying, we want to get Malik more reps in. Is that really what he says, to get Malik more reps in? Or is that we've seen all we needed to see from Logan Woodside, and we don't need to see any more? And we've made up our mind. And we want to see what Malik can do rather than watch Logan Woodside throw the ball away on every single down.
It's just, it's great something to have to worry about your backup quarterback in training camp when you got a starting quarterback who's been dynamic in 2 days and practices out here. But at some point, very few players make it through 17 games in the season, including a quarterback. So that's got to be a position that's solidified, that you can rely on if you have to get in the game to get your team moving forward, man. It's just, right now, it's not good for the Titans.
Let's go to your phones. Phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. If you have a thought, Josh texts in and says Logan Woodside's body language after he threw that first pick last Thursday was that of a man who knows he's lost the backup job.
Ooh.
He looked like he didn't want to be there. Malik met him first on the sideline, and Logan wouldn't look at him. He gave up as soon as they drafted Malik. I don't know if I fully subscribe to that belief.
Right.
I'm not going to say that Logan Woodside doesn't want to be here. I don't know that. I can't believe that that's the case. I can't believe that he feels some sort of, bad sentiment toward Malik, but, maybe I'm wrong. When Malik Willis was drafted, so much of our conversation was how is that going to affect Ryan Tannehill's psyche? But we didn't talk about how it could affect Logan Woodside. Is it potentially affecting him? I didn't see any sort of bad blood between Logan Woodside and Malik Willis on the sidelines, but maybe I missed it. And maybe that really is what is getting to Logan Woodside.
Yeah, you're right. But again, I want Woodside to start Saturday night to get the same opportunity that Malik Willis did. It's only fair that these guys compete in kind of the same realm and environment, and let him get out there and see what he can do. And if he can't do it, then at some point they got to make a decision. But, man, it's got to just drive them crazy. They're talking about backup quarterbacks and all that. But, hey, it's a valuable position on a team.
Coming up next, one Joe Rexrode will join the show breaking down his thoughts from practice, plus your thoughts as well, 615-737-1025. It is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 1025, 1063 The Game. And you can join Chase McCabe every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. for Chase and Checkers as he talks to the drivers and gets you set for race weekend. NASCAR on 1025 and 1063 The Game is presented by the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway.
The MTSU Blue Raiders live here.
Touchdown, Middle Tennessee! 3-ball, yes, sir!
And when you're in the borough, tune us in on 97.5.
In the end zone, caught, touchdown!
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hey, it's Jared for TriStar Moving. If you're looking to move, you need to give my friends at TriStar Moving a call. At TriStar Moving, you'll get 5-star service throughout the entire process. Everything will be taken care of, from covering your floors, banisters, railings, front door thresholds, furniture, TVs, and more. They took great care of my move and made it as stress-free as possible. If you're looking to move, give TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit them at nashvillemoving.org/radio and get 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
This September, the Chainsmokers hit Music City at the Blended Wine and Music Festival. 24 bands, 2 stages, 1 weekend, all under the Nashville skyline. Performances by the Chainsmokers, Loud Luxury, Sick Kick, Fetty Wap, Breland, and more. September 10th and 11th, the ultimate social experience drops in Music City. Enjoy a massive 100-foot wine tent, culinary village, and wellness lounge. Get tickets now at blendedfestival.com.
Harman Energy is now hiring drivers for their Nashville team. Harman Energy is Tennessee's petroleum solution for major industries. Right now, they're offering competitive compensation. Fuel tank wagon drivers start at $26 an hour. Fuel transport drivers, $29 an hour. Plus, there's a $4,000 sign-on bonus for CDL drivers. Top quality benefits and a great place to work, Harman Energy employees provide totally outrageous customer service. Come be an employee owner with the Harman team. Apply now at harmanenergy.com.
Nerds! Here at NerdWallet, we often see people wrestle with financial decisions.
Mike is in the ring, up against his nemesis, indecision. Mike can't decide the best way to save his money, and indecision has him boxed in. But wait, Mike tagged in NerdWallet!
Whew, let's go. With NerdWallet's side-by-side comparisons, you can find a high-yield savings account with interest rates that earn more bang for your buck. So the next time you wrestle with a financial decision, you'll come out on top. NerdWallet, the smartest decision for all your financial decisions.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Robbie and Rex Road, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Stilling and Company.
Nashville's best sports talk, 1025 and 1063.
Terang, it's a high fly ball. We got pass rushes. Awesome game 7.
Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willy Donick,
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee.
and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason on Nashville's best sports talk, 1025 and 1063 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3. The Game. We're streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Our video streaming is brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. And joining us now is one Joe Rexrode. So, Joe, first and foremost, what was Vrabel so mad about in his press conference? Why did he walk off?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know that he cut it short, but he definitely was, he was getting short at the end. And I think he's mad about the fight. Yeah. He was not happy with the fight. He was asked sort of like a basic, like Jeffrey Simmons question, Terry McCormick, just a basic, like, how's Jeffrey's camp or whatever, which is an interesting time to ask it because for people who don't know, Simmons and Fournette were the primary. Tell me about the LSU-Mississippi State rivalry. Is it intense or what? Because I'm like, man, no. You're like, oh, no, we don't even worry about the Bulldogs.
Well, we've got more important fish to fry.
This is true.
We've got a certain fish in Tuscaloosa that we got to fry first.
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe Simmons has a chip on his shoulder about LSU not considering them a real rival. I don't know.
Maybe he's been holding this in for all this time.
I don't, all I know is Simmons.
But Lenny can jaw now. Lenny can talk.
Yeah. So it was those two, and then it could have been something. Vrabel got in there quickly, broke it up, and I think he was mad. He did the whole, that falls under the category of dumb beep that hurts the team, and he said, to paraphrase, if you guys want to write about what that is, there's a good example to write about. So he's not, and I mean, Simmons had it. I was right by Simmons earlier, and I forget the lineman. It was Gadecki or whatever for the Bucks. He fell on Simmons was holding his face mask. So they had to break that up. He was out there talking a lot. Yesterday he got close. So I mean, I would have put him number one on my, on my start a brawl list going into this. He would have been the odds-on favorite. But Vrabel wasn't too. I think that's really all it was just that the way it ended because they almost got through 2 days with like nothing.
Which I was kind of surprised about. You're hearing all these, Panthers, Patriots drama that's coming out. But you said you were mostly on the defensive field. What stood out to you over there?
Yeah, and, of course, we talked about the corner situation.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Now, the problem today is that Elijah Molden was on the bike. So, but apparently, the fact that McCreary's getting some ones reps in place of Farley yesterday, very interesting. Now, today, they're both with the one. So, Farley's outside, McCreary's in the slot. But
Fulton's out there as well.
And Fulton, yeah. But I watched a lot of that. I thought all of them were pretty good. They all gave up some plays. They made some plays. And McCreary, Farley is really interesting. And then, of course, here on this side, you guys saw the stuff at the end. Farley with the pick and then the 2 pass breakups. So, like, in about 5 plays, he made 3 really big plays. And so Vrabel said he was happy with them and all that. And so it was a good day for him. But I think that's one to watch. And, of course, the right tackles are switchy. They each get a day. So.
Right.
Each get a day.
That's kind of what I expected.
The fight you saw, I looked up the Buccaneer. How do you say his last name? The guy that fought with Simmons, Gadecki. Is that his name?
Yeah.
He's 6'5", 320. Simmons is 6'4", 350. It's like watching King Kong and Godzilla fight each other over there. I mean, but could it have gotten worse?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, he basically, Simmons, I think basically Gadecki fell on him, and then Simmons wouldn't let him up, had his face mask.
Oh, okay.
That one got pretty quickly extinguished.
Yeah.
This one had a chance.
You said Simmons was number one on your list to start that if something happened. I always look for Lewan. When something like that happens, I always find, where's Lewan? Is he in the middle of all that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Lewan's definitely a personal foul after the whistle guy, and people don't like him, so they'll find him. But I think Simmons is the most, like, he talks out there, and he gets intense.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, Lewan could have had it. I think Lewan's getting old and,
Just got to stay away. What was the game, the
making
Raiders
jokes, doing
game?
podcasts,
Was it Raiders game in 16 when Lewan, after they had a great chance of winning that game, and then Lewan went down there.
Just came barreling over the pile. Yeah. So he's grown a lot since then.
So overall, you spent a lot of time on defense. Yesterday, Tannehill was the talk, and then we saw him over here, Joe, and he was, to me, was as dynamic in the things that I saw today as he was yesterday.
Yeah, I think he's played well. I think he almost had a pick on it was maybe a Westbrook-Akina mix-up, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but no, he's throwing the ball well. Command. Don't get me started with Caroline now. They're a totally different guy, just completely transformed.
Joe,
hey.
I've never said he's a totally different guy. I've never said that, oh my goodness, because Ryan Tannehill looks more confident that he is going to be NFL MVP. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that I'll at least take the little wins where I can take them.
I will say this, that if Jared Stillman wins wins 3 straight sports arguments with any human on the planet, that's like a donkey shooting par at Legends, okay? Like, there's, like, it just doesn't, that's not natural in life,
I
okay?
only judged 2 of those 3, so you cannot put that on me.
All right. That's fine. We're good.
To your point about...
We need a panel. Okay.
I will do a full how to judge a debate class to make sure that I come in with the best judging that I possibly can.
Bring that to Professor Knezovich's class. Actually.
Oh, I will,
Yeah,
actually.
see?
If
There
you
we
ever
go.
need to facilitate a debate between Jared Stillman and Joe Rexroth, here's how you do it. 101. But you mentioned Christian Fulton, Caleb Farley, Roger McCreary all out there. And now we can kind of see Roger McCreary and Caleb Farley side by side. Was there one over the other that you think really stood out?
Well, it's amazing when they actually are, and it's funny you say that because at one point in the red zone stuff on the other field, they were standing right next to each other, and it's like Farley's a freaking foot taller than that dude. You know, it's amazing.
Farley's tall.
Yeah, it's
He's
amazing.
long.
Yeah, and of course
Mhm.
that's an advantage. But McCreary is, I mean, he's aggressive and fast and quick, great feet. I mean, it's I actually asked Farley after the practice, I was like, do you feel like this could almost be like a matchup thing, you know, like in a particular week? Because I think Fulton is going to be CB1, and I think he's a lot of times when they match up going to get, like the talk about physical receivers, that's more Caleb's area, but then the smaller, quicker guys, that's more Rodgers. Maybe one of them gets more reps than the other based on matchups. I mean, I think the Titans would love for that to be that interchangeable. We'll see if it is.
Titans starting 11 pretty much. You got an idea who's going to be 11 when the Giants roll in on September the 11th?
Well, there's 22. There's 2 sides of the ball, Joe. They play
But, I
offense
mean,
and
the
defense.
defense.
This isn't like in your day in high school when it was like you played
Right.
double, play both sides. You know?
Everybody plays both sides. So, we talk about guys. I mean, so you got a feeling who's going to start secondary, everybody for the Giants game?
Well, I mean, again, I think Farley McCreary has become interesting. Up front, there's been so many guys rotating there, but I think ultimately it's still like Autry's been out a ton, right? So is Autry going to be ready? If he is, it's Autry, Simmons up there, but some of those other guys are in the mix. I think everything else is set. And then, of course, I mean, really, I think there's 2 competitions now. And I would not have guessed that Farley would necessarily get into one because McCreary's missed time and he's been in the slot. But I think that looks like one, and then, of course, right tackle on the other side of the ball.
And you bring up right tackle. We saw Dylan Radins out there with Ryan Tannehill yesterday. We saw Nicholas Petit-Frere out there with Ryan Tannehill today. I know you've said that you don't think the right tackle is on this football team, but let's say...
No, that was Gentry. Gentry has to say that.
Okay,
yeah, on our show, but I don't agree with that.
What do you think?
Well, I think that before this season's over, Nicholas Petit-Frere is going to be the starting right tackle.
That's what I think, too.
Yeah, I just don't know when. Will he do it before the season starts? I don't know. I mean, honestly, listening to Trevor Maddich on your guys' show, I was like, geez, I was watching the game, too. I didn't think it was that bad, man. But, I mean, I trust Trevor Maddich,
Not an offensive lineman.
Yeah, so, I mean, but on a daily basis, I think he's certainly a lot better. I think he's okay. I think there's just a different level of strength and physicality with Petit-Frere. So I think ultimately that's going to happen. I don't know when. And then could Radins go back to left guard? I don't know. Aaron Brewer seems to be entrenched, but you'd have more size there if you went that route. Any running backs pop out to you today? I don't. Yeah, Hilliard a couple times, and the whole camp, man. Hilliard looks good. And I was saying this earlier today. I wonder if Hilliard isn't just a third down back, but if a back gets another series, is Hilliard like getting some carries? I mean, I know Haskins. I didn't see it, but I guess Haskins trucked somebody today. Is that right? Yeah. So, he's a nice prospect, rookie. Obviously, they drafted him to be that, but Hilliard looks good, man. Catching the ball. And I thought he was watching him last year. I'm like, this dude was just sitting around for someone to,
Right.
So I like him. Chestnut, by the way, gets the first rep with the ones. Take that for whatever it's worth, but he did get the first rep with the ones. He's been pretty good.
I don't hate what I've seen from Julius Chestnut. And I was walking over with Jared earlier in practice, and he said, Julius Chestnut, he sucks.
Oh, God, of course.
I don't think
Everybody sucks.
I don't think that
Sucks.
Julius Chestnut sucks. Do you think that he has an opportunity to make this team?
He doesn't suck. He's amazing. In fact, he created possibly the best Titans media tweet of the last at least week. You saw his tweet, right? Joe's
I don't
tweet.
know if I saw his tweet.
Go ahead, say your tweet, Joe. I'll let you say it.
For Chestnut?
Yeah.
Oh, when he
fumbled.
My tweet was chestnuts roasting over an open waiver wire.
Oh, that is a good one.
I mean, that's pretty strong.
That's a pretty good
well,
one.
And then
usually he just tweets about like freaking Magnum PI. Like this was the next level.
Well, what's funny though is that Chestnut comes back with that nice, very stern, hard run, that 35-yard, whatever it was, and you get the Twitter people come at you. Look at you now. You're going to take it back. I'm like, no, he fumbled the ball. I saw him fumble the ball from the camera angle on the surface of Mars, which was still so far away. Stillman had a fun tweet about, I got a better angle on my TV 30 high school football games on Friday night than what we saw in Baltimore Thursday.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
But he's a good story. Sacred Heart. I mean, how many Sacred Heart NFL guys are there?
Yeah, no, not many.
Not many at all.
It's a great story. Speaking of Jared, real quick.
Yes.
I wanted to mention he had a good question, and I think an illuminating answer by Vrabel today on backup QB. Because Vrabel asked him, like, why is Willis getting more reps?
We played that earlier.
So Vrabel basically, to me, they're confirmed they're like Woodside's going to be the two, right?
Well,
I mean, basically, like
Vrabel
they're
said
just getting Willis work.
But he said we've had conversations with Logan's opportunity to compete. To me, I interpret that as Vrabel sat down with Logan Woodside and said, look, we want to give you this job, but you need to give us more. We want to give you that opportunity to be QB2, but not if you're going to keep making those mistakes. Maybe that's just my interpretation of how I feel Logan Woodside's looked in camp. I mean, yesterday, he was bad.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But I think my thoughts on the backup quarterback situation.
But Willis was too. I mean, that's the thing, right?
But I don't think either of them can be the backup quarterback.
Well, that may be the case. I don't know. It's like, look, if a Gabbert's out there, great. But like, it's a very small list of people that you're just going to come in and feel better on. Woodside needs to go out and play a decent half of football, and I think it'll just be fine. But we'll see.
But again, Joe Rexford is with us. Last one for you, Joe. If you had to take one big takeaway from today, what was the biggest thing that you saw?
Yeah, I think I'd go with, just because I was mostly focused on it, but I think that corner situation, which again, I going into this week, I wasn't sure, like Molden back, so what does that mean for McCreary?
Right.
Certainly you like him as a fourth corner, but my takeaway is, one, Farley responded, and Vrabel talked about it, and he's happy, but Vrabel also likes McCreary a lot, and it's a plus situation for them, to actually have depth, because some of the spots they don't. We just talked about quarterback.
Right.
But my big takeaway is those guys both are playing well, and that's going to be actually fun to watch down the stretch.
Joe, we appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for joining us.
Right, thanks, guys.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll get your thoughts on that, plus Joe's thoughts on the cornerback situation. We've got a nice little loaded room with Christian Fulton, Caleb Farley, Roger McCreary. What will that look like on game day? We'll get into that coming up next. But before we do that, remind y'all that you can find Big Joe Dubin himself and Elijah Campbell tomorrow for the Apple Collision Center's Game Blitz from 6 to midnight. They'll preview the big games and then take you through the night of high school football around the Mid-State.
Every Wednesday at 2:45.
Sanders for the touchdown, 48 yards.
Former NFL wide receiver Chris Sanders joins Stillman and Company to give his thoughts on all things Titans and NFL. Fueled by Parman Energy, now hiring fuel drivers. Apply now at ParmanEnergy.com on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
An effective defense often hinges on sophisticated strategies relating to income tax projections, business valuations, spousal support claims. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Nashville area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 615-457-8700. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Offices in Nashville, Franklin, Murfreesboro, and Gallatin. Cordell & Cordell, 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067.
Hey everybody, Big Joe here for Apple Collision Centers. And I'm always on the go, but the distraction that an automobile accident causes could even slow my pace down to a stop. But my friend and CEO of Apple Collision Centers, Stan Harrison, has a plan to get you and I back on the road and fast.
We at Apple Collision Centers know you deserve the best quality service. We always recommend original equipment parts, and we use only the best Sherwin-Williams finishes. 3 convenient locations, Hendersonville, Gallatin, and Oak Hickory. And you can always visit us online for your estimate needs at applecollisioncenters.com.
Hi, I'm Chase McCabe. The Nashville Stampede Days are finally here this weekend at Bridgestone Arena, Friday through Sunday. You can get tickets by going to PBR.com or Ticketmaster.com. Nashville Stampede, Justin McBride, the head coach, says he's very excited to add three-time PBR world champion Silvano Alves to his team.
It's huge, man. That's, we're going to be able to start off the first game with Taiki Pacheco as a world champion, and in that game with Silvano Alves as a three-time world champion. So Silvano brings a lot of experience, a lot of ability, obviously, but also some great leadership qualities for the young guys. As a guy that's been in a lot of big moments and has won those moments and been successful.
Again, Nashville Stampede Days will take place all this weekend at Bridgestone Arena. Just go to PBR.com/tickets or Ticketmaster.com. I'm Chase McCabe.
Bundling home and car insurance with Geico is so easy, your neighbors are probably already doing it. But who? They may drop little hints like,
Beautiful day out. Even more beautiful since we saved by bundling our home and car insurance with Geico.
or
Yard work is hard. Much harder than bundling with Geico, which was easy.
it may be even subtler, like,
Speaking of burgers, we bundled our home and car insurance with Geico and saved a bunch of money.
bundling is easy with Geico. Just ask your neighbors.
We want to hear from you.
Thanks for taking the call.
Join the conversation. Call or text at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
I would say that the first 8 plays weren't very good. They ran it 8 straight times. I don't think it was, the run defense that we expect. But I think they settled down. I think they, did better in the red zone stuff. I thought it was much more competitive down there. But when they handed the ball off 8 straight plays, I didn't. That's not what I expect from our defense.
That was Titans head coach Mike Vrabel at the podium earlier, talking about the defense. Tampa Bay Buccaneers ran the ball 8 straight times. Didn't like what we saw from the run defense. But Joe Rexrode was just on, and he was talking about the cornerback position, because I wasn't on the defensive side of the field yesterday. I was watching the offense, but Jared was at the defensive side of the field, and he said that his biggest takeaway was that Caleb Farley did not look good. I saw one-on-ones early on in practice, and I saw Caleb Farley get beat twice by, I have to look at the Buccaneers roster because I don't even know his name. Yesterday in one-on-ones, Caleb Farley got beat by Kalen Geiger Sr. twice. Do you know who that is?
No, but I like the name.
Me neither.
Though. What number is he?
That's the point. Number 80.
Number 80.
He also got beat by Vincent Smith, free agents this year. So it was concerning to me to see Caleb Farley get beat twice by 2 wide receivers that I've never heard of in my entire life. So that was a concern. And Jared said in team periods, in 7-on-7 and 11-on-11s, Caleb Farley continued to get beat. So that was something that concerned me. And the question was, does Caleb Farley need a little bit of time, both to get the knee fully healed, to get acclimated back into cutting off of that knee and to be, 100%? Is it going to take time for him to get reacclimated into football? Because he didn't play his final year at Virginia Tech. He didn't play last season because he was coming off of the injury and then tore his ACL again. So was it he just needs to get reacclimated into football since he hasn't played in a few years?
Possibly.
That could be the case.
I mean, he's a big dude.
He's a tall guy.
6'2", 200, lanky. I mean, he made a nice play in the end zone down here towards the end of the
he did have a nice little play.
2-minute drill there. But, they get the Lonnie Johnson guy that came in from Kansas City that didn't do half bad yesterday. So there's still a lot of questions with this defense in the secondary that probably they would hope by now would have not been a concern. But, right now it doesn't look fantastic, I should say, but they've got prospects.
And there's at least depth there.
Yeah.
I mean, Christian Fulton has looked really good in camp. Roger McCreary has been my favorite off-season new Titans acquisition. I mean, Roger McCreary has absolutely exceeded expectations. He is so fun to watch because wherever the ball is, he is.
Yeah.
He is a ball magnet. But with Caleb Farley, my biggest concern with him is consistency. This was Mike Vrabel yesterday when he was asked about Caleb Farley's practice yesterday when he didn't look that great.
Mike, what do you think of Caleb today?
On first glance, I didn't think it was probably his best day. He had a good day yesterday, and I'm going to go watch the tape, but I just didn't see what I saw from yesterday. I thought he some things that we need to continue to work on.
So, yeah, again, that was Mike Vrabel yesterday about Caleb Farley. And he says, okay, he had a good day yesterday, which would have been on Monday. And then he comes back on Wednesday, doesn't have a great practice. Right. He comes back today. Joe Rexrode said he looked better. And he had a nice little, he had some pass breakups over there. He had a nice little interception over on the closer field over by us. So my biggest thing with Caleb Farley is inconsistency. I at least like to hear that today he looked better, because if he continued to get beat by let me look at my roster again.
Geiger Sr.
Geiger and Vincent Smith, then that's concerning. If he can't go up against the 2s and the 3s in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, then he can't go up against Stephon Diggs in week 2. No. But it's the inconsistency that I think I've started to notice from Caleb Farley. Good day on Monday, bad day on Wednesday, good day on Thursday. What is the law of averages with Caleb Farley? What can we expect?
By the way,
that's what's concerning.
Vincent Smith went to Limestone College.
We did talk about that yesterday. I didn't even know that was a school.
Me neither until now.
I don't even know where that is.
Who the Vols, was it Longwood that the Vols played in basketball that I'd never heard of in the first round of the NCAA tournament?
Mm-hmm.
And
Longwood.
Then Limestone. I'm
going
to look up old Limestone College. Now, that interests me because, they'll find you. GMs will find you.
Oh, yeah.
If you've got some sort of talent, they'll find you. Now, it's up to you to make the team, but I'll look up old Limestone College right now.
Yeah, you do find a nice little awkward gaggle of weird teams in the NCAA tournament.
Right. Yes.
And also, we talk so much about these corners. So I do wonder, too, how much work are the corners going to get on a week-to-week basis with a defensive front that continues to get to the quarterback like that?
Oh, we asked Hooker about that. How does that make your job easier?
Yeah.
He goes, anytime they can get pressure on the quarterback immediately, you're not having to hold the coverage for another 3 to 4 seconds, which
That's huge.
Oh, massively huge. And anytime those guys can get after the quarterback like that, it changes everything up. I go back to this team in 2007 and 8 with Vanden Bosch and Hainsworth and Javon Curse. They just went after quarterbacks, and the secondary just set back and had some great games with interception. I remember in 2007 on a Monday night game, they went after Drew Brees so much. They had 3 pick sixes in that game. I remember Vincent Fuller had one, Keith Bullock had one in that game. So anytime that front 4 in this case, or the front 3 with the 3-4 they run, can get that pressure on the quarterback, man, you can sit back. Kevin Byard should have a fantastic year. Those guys get up there. So, yeah, it's huge for this football team.
And I do think that's a big thing here with the secondary is as long as your guys up front can get it done for you, that makes your job so much easier. But you still need corners back there that you can rely on. And I don't know how much Mike Vrabel feels like he can rely on Caleb Farley. And that's a little bit concerning coming from your first-round pick. I was so excited this year knowing that, okay, you're not only getting contribution from your draft class in 22, you're also going to start seeing and reaping the benefits of your 2021 class. And I'm not counting out Caleb Farley whatsoever because he's got the body. He's got the length. He's got the size. He's got the speed of a corner. I mean, he was a first-round draft pick. He looks like it. But if you can't beat the 2s and the 3s, what can you do on a week in, week out basis?
Yeah, especially being the number 1 pick. I mean, you've got, in the 2020 pick with Isaiah Wilson, oh my goodness, and then now your 2021 pick, if he can't get on the field, then you're like, man, these 2 first-round picks that you just missed on that didn't get the job done for you. And again, they're giving him every opportunity to earn that job. They don't want to take that job away from him. They want to get the opportunity to do that. So, but, he's got another week at the Cardinals coming. It'll be interesting to see next week with Kyler Murray running around how well he does. And they got some good receivers there, too. So there's still time left. Not a lot of time, Caroline, to get this done, to figure it out. But they've got some time, and that's okay. But when you're bringing in Lonnie Johnson and other guys to compete with that says a lot. Because they ain't bringing in strong safeties.
Right.
You know, they're bringing in free safeties. You know, they're bringing in positions and guys that they need that they feel uncomfortable with right now, and that's with the cornerbacks.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. If you have a thought on that, we'll break down more from what Joe Rexroth saw from camp, from what we saw from camp. So we'll get into that plus your phones. Before we do that, I want to let you know that you, like many of you, I've got my friends who have kids or nieces or nephews who will be starting school in the next couple of weeks, and they've been shopping with their parents, with my friends, with myself to make sure that they've got what they need and to be ready to reconnect with their classmates. But there are way too many children in Middle Tennessee who won't get that same opportunity, and that's what we want to help. They're living in homelessness, and they don't have the resources to spend on shoes and clothing, and we want to change that. We partnered with Souls for Souls to raise enough money to buy a pair of shoes for the thousands of children in Middle Tennessee who need our help. $20, that's all it takes, just $20. Please help us do the right thing. You can text DONATE to 615-737-1025. It only takes a few minutes to change a life. That's DONATE to 615-737-1025 and help us out. Thank you for your kindness.
Hey, Preds fans.
Sliding across to make the save is Sarah.
You can now hear Nashville's best sports talk.
The backhander, he scores!
And every Predators game on 106.3 FM.
Oh, that was a thing of beauty.
From downtown Nashville to Rutherford and Williamson counties.
Duchesne with the overtime winner.
Catch all the action on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. If you missed the latest from Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
Russell Gage is not, Mike Evans is not.
So the Titans ought to just smoke them defensively. 2 days of defensive dominance.
Ideally.
I mean, right?
I mean, that's what you would hope.
So should we set the standard there of 2 days of defensive dominance if Mike Evans, Tom Brady, Chris Godwin, and Russell Gage are not participating for Tampa Bay?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we are. We're going to do that.
Yes.
Yes.
2 days of defensive dominance. I am demanding 2 days of defensive dominance from the Titans. What are you chuckling about back there?
Just demand all you'd like.
Well, you know.
Or else.
Tune in Stillman and Company with Jared Stillman. Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6.
On ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, homeowners and home buyers, listen up. Loan Pronto has 30-year fixed rates with APRs in the 4s and 15-year loans with APRs that start with 3. Hey, it's Willy Donick. Don't be confused by the media's hype about interest rates. At Loan Pronto, their rates have plummeted recently, and they're currently refinancing homeowners who locked in a 5 or 6% rate. So if you've got a rate over 5%, or if your lender has you pre-approved or locked in at anything 5% or higher, you need to call Loan Pronto now. Not all lender rates are created equal. Loan Pronto's rates are down big time, and you need to take advantage. Whether you're buying, refinancing, getting cash out, or even if you just closed a few weeks ago. Call Loan Pronto today, and you can save tens of thousands of dollars. Loan Pronto can help keep more money in your pocket. Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Genesis Diamond's most extreme value on diamonds is coming to an end. You have until Sunday at 5 p.m. to get the price of a lifetime on a certified GIA diamond ring.
Response has been incredible. People have driven for hours to buy like a dealer buys. All GIA certified diamond rings are on sale. A full 20% discount off Genesis' amazing everyday value price.
We're talking values you never thought possible. From a half carat to 20 carat diamonds, all hand-picked for maximum brilliance and all graded by the most prestigious gem lab in the world.
Don't be surprised to see jewelry store owners and diamond dealers shopping alongside you.
Rounds, ovals, princess cuts, cushion cuts, emerald cuts. Genesis has the largest GIA diamond selection you've ever seen.
And now through Sunday, you can take advantage of this rare buying opportunity. Limit one per customer, please.
Get the Genesis no middleman direct importer price minus an extra 20% on all GIA diamond engagement rings. Now through Sunday only at Genesis Diamonds.
Green Hills and Cool Springs.
See store for details.
Your home for Hit City is 94.9 The Fan.
Your Nashville Sounds continue their series in Jacksonville.
Swing and a miss, strike three. Sounds win.
Pre-game at 5:50 on your home for Sounds baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey, Nashville
Nashville, this is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
With you having 2 joint practices this fall, anything you take from these 2 and maybe say, hey, we're going to switch things around in this next one coming up next week?
We are, yeah. We're going to split up for team against Arizona. Cliff and I have talked and going to try to give this an idea. I love the one-on-ones. I love some of the 7-on-7 work, especially in the red zone. Pass rush is good to be able to see a different style. But these guys go hard. We practice. I appreciate the way they practice. I appreciate the intensity in which they practice. So I'm conscious of that. So we'll try to do a lot of those things. We'll split apart for some teamwork, whether we have a show team or not, or whether we go against ourselves. And we're going to give that a try next week.
All right, that was Titans head coach Mike Vrabel at the podium today, kind of looking ahead to next week where the Titans will host the Arizona Cardinals for a joint practice after they take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a preseason game this weekend. But the biggest chatter so far the past couple of days has been that backup quarterback position, really the quarterback position as a whole. Looking at Ryan Tannehill. Has he looked different in practice? Does it feel different than it has in the past? Amani Hooker, we had him on the show earlier and I asked him, hey, does Ryan Tannehill feel like more of a leader? Nick, if we have that, this was what Amani Hooker had to say about Ryan Tannehill.
He's a guy who wants to win. He's a winner. You see that on the game day. He's putting his body on the line, jumping for the goal line. He's taking hits and delivering the pass over the middle. He's a guy that just comes out every day and is competing and trying to be great.
And I asked Amani Hooker, is that something that's kind of new? Has it changed at all this year? And he said, yeah, he's definitely more confident. And I think that's something that we've all kind of picked up on so far in training camp is, who knows if it's going to translate to the regular season. We don't know if that's going to be the difference between a 2021 Tannehill and what he was in the earlier years with the Tennessee Titans. I don't know that, but I can only take it as a good sign. And I can only take it as a good sign that through how many weeks have we been out here?
3, 4, right?
3 or 4. He's thrown 3 picks. I think that's a good sign, saying that over the past 6 months we've been talking about Ryan Tannehill just being a turnover machine. So that's one thing. The good thing about this quarterback position is that Ryan Tannehill's just looked better.
He's looked the last 2 days. I give him an A from yesterday, and by all accounts, didn't see as much today as I saw yesterday from him, but just delivering the ball in stride, standing in there. You're going to throw interceptions. I get that. But he looked really good yesterday, and he looked really good the time I saw him today, moving the ball down the field. His best throw of the day, I think, was a drop by Racey McMath in the corner of the end zone. He let it
that was on Racey.
Perfectly in there. Should have grabbed it, bounced off his hands, did not get it. He had another one on the other side of the field, another goal line pass, which he just laid in there to Westbrook Akine, and it was perfect. So the concern is, all right, so your backup quarterbacks aren't very good. Okay, you can still figure that out. But if your starting quarterback is not looking good through these things, you're like, oh, my gosh, what's going to happen here? Mm-hmm. But Titans fans, he has looked fantastic out here in camp so far. And you won't get to see it until the first game against the Giants on the 11th. I understand that he's not going to play in these preseason games. But from what we've seen, Caroline, not bad at all.
And then the next conversation, which you could kind of say it's better if your negative conversations are about the backup quarterback. And that's exactly what we've been having those kind of conversations is the backup quarterback position between Logan Woodside and Malik Willis. Before we get into that, I want to preface this by saying, because I've seen a lot of Titans fans, especially after the preseason game, call for Malik Willis to be the backup quarterback. Malik Willis is not ready.
Correct.
Malik Willis, if he was put in a position to be the backup quarterback and Ryan Tannehill does get hurt, I fear for his safety and I fear for the safety of the receivers as well.
Oh, yes.
That's okay. Malik Willis can take this year to develop, sit on the bench, learn this offense, learn what he needs to do to hopefully develop into a starting quarterback. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he can do that, but that's his job this year. That's the Titans' job this year, is to figure out, can he become that? What does he need to do to become that? One question that I have for you, and something that me and Joe Rexroad were kind of deliberating on in practice yesterday. Could you see the Titans carrying 3 quarterbacks on game day? A backup, whoever that might be, and then Malik Willis to come in some of those 4th and 1 situations, 4th and goal situations, 2-point conversion situations.
Nope.
You don't see it?
Because he comes in the game, admittedly, he's going to get the ball. I mean, he's going to be a decoy. We can figure that out, but I would not do that. I don't think he has right now the skill set to do that, to be like, all right, he's going to be something dynamic for us and for that. No, and I don't think they want to. I don't think they want to put him in to do that, just to get him in there. No, this team is too good with Henry and with Tannehill and, with the good tight ends. They don't need to put that in as a decoy or even to let him run. I don't think they'll do that right now. I mean, of course, I'm the same guy. I didn't think that Derrick Henry could throw a pass on the goal line versus the Ravens in the playoffs 2 years ago, and he did, and looked fantastic doing that. I just think right now it's like you concentrate on being the best quarterback you can. I don't think they want to add anything to his play. That's my assumption of all this.
But I understand you saying that if you put Malik out there in a 4th-and-1 situation, it's like basically saying, hey, we're going to run the ball. We're running the ball. But isn't that the same thing with Derrick Henry? When you have Jeff Swaim out there as pretty much a strictly blocking tight end, and Derrick Henry's running out there in a 1st-and-4 situation.
Right.
Isn't that saying, hey, we're running the ball? And at least putting, let's say if you have Derrick Henry and Malik Willis, Hassan Haskins out there, and then throw in, Dontrell Hilliard as well.
I would be shocked if they put him in any kind of packages for Malik Willis to that.
I would be too, but I do think it's interesting to think about. If you're going to lean into his athleticism, at least get him some minutes on the field in a regular game. I think that's the only way that I see Malik Willis getting on the field is in those kind of package situations.
If one play had put him in, if they're like 3rd and 10 at their own 40, and then do some kind of reverse to Willis, let him throw the ball down the field. That'd be kind of fun. If it's not open, take off running.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll allow you to take off running. If you don't see this play open, receiver open, take off running down the field. Now I could see something like that working it a couple of times again. It'd be kind of fun to kind of the misdirection, because it's always about the surprise for the defense. Throw something out they're not expecting, so that'd be really cool.
And then the third quarterback in this entire conversation and situation is Logan Woodside as well. Haven't seen much good from Logan Woodside over the past couple of days. I watched him pretty closely yesterday. He struggled. He made very questionable throws. So many times I saw him drop back, and there'll be instances where I might see Tannehill throw a pick, but I'm like, I see what you saw. I understand where you're going with this. So many times with Logan Woodside, at least yesterday, I thought, what are you doing, man? Like, what? Like, so many times I couldn't even use my filter to stop myself from saying, what in the world? Logan, what are we doing here? So the question there is, do you make a change at backup quarterback, or do you hold on to Logan Woodside? The Titans feel, I have to think, a certain sense of comfort with Logan Woodside there. But also, if you can upgrade, why wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. And we said, that's my hot take from there. I'm not one for hot takes, but if Woodside is bad Saturday night and, he has not been good out here so far, then I think the conversation is, all right, we're going to look around the league. Who's out there, who's maybe not has an offer, maybe that's kind of working on their own right now, and go that way. Because I think it's going to cost them a pretty penny if you go after somebody's backup quarterback right now to kind of bring them in from another team.
But I think they would have to look at teams that have like 3 or 4 quarterbacks in that room, and they're looking to get rid of one.
Yeah, but you got to bring them in there, and you got to hit the ground quick. I mean, you got to make this quick to do that. I wouldn't help another team out if I'm my quarterback. Somebody comes to me and says, hey, I'll give you, unless you're going to give me some sort of draft choice for that. But can you see them giving a 6th-round draft choice for a backup quarterback from, I don't know.
6th-round pick?
I don't know. John Robinson loves his picks, except for the 2018 draft. Only had 4 of them.
Except for the 2nd-round pick for Julio Jones.
Right, exactly.
That really paid dividends.
Right.
But another thing is I see a lot of texts in the text line, and I want to get to these. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, about people kind of jumping to conclusions about the backup job. For example, Ron texts in and says, I know he's not the best choice, and he's a vet, and he might still have something left in the tank. Where is Cam Newton, and why can't the Titans go after him for a backup job?
Ooh, that's intriguing.
No, I don't want Cam Newton.
That's intriguing.
I don't think Mike Vrabel would want Cam Newton in this room. Does Cam Newton want to come here and be strictly the backup and say, okay, hey, when if Ryan Tannehill, knock on all the wood, goes down with injury, you go in and all we're going to ask you to do is just hand the ball off to Derrick Henry.
Right.
I see the same thing with Jimmy Garoppolo. We've seen a couple texters today say, well, what about Jimmy Garoppolo? Jimmy Garoppolo does not want to come in here and be the backup.
Right.
Jimmy Garoppolo wants to go somewhere and compete for the starting job. You don't go from being a starting quarterback in the league, losing your job to Trey Lance, to all of a sudden just, being the backup option here.
That's interesting.
No, Jimmy. I'm no on Jimmy G.
Wow. That's interesting. I mean, he'd want to be on a team, but then what are you telling Malik? All right, you got this guy. I mean,
he does know the system.
Man, that's interesting.
But I don't see the value of bringing in Jimmy Garoppolo as being your backup quarterback.
No, I think he's probably – I don't know. I didn't even think about that. To come in here, but then he's then – if you bring him in for a one-year deal, like you're going to be our backup, you're going to go in, and and that way you could Willis say, look, all right, you're number 3, just learn. Just learn, run the scout team for us, learn everything this 1 year. We're not relying on you to do everything in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Just learn. That's not a bad idea, but how much is Garoppolo going to want? 10, 15 million? I'm not paying that for him.
I'm not paying $15 million for a backup quarterback. It feels an unnecessary use of resources. But Josh texts into the text line and says, what do we make of the quote-unquote new Tannehill and how he looked against a different team?
I think we've been pretty evident about that.
Yeah, I noticed that yesterday at least because I was able to watch Tannehill a little bit more closely yesterday. Again, today it was a little bit difficult to see. But Tannehill definitely, he threw an interception, he threw a pick, he threw a couple questionable balls, but it was the bounce back that was big for me. And he was not going up against some scrubs.
Right.
He was going up against Vita Vea and the really good pass rushers on the Bucs. So
He stood
his own.
Yeah, I mean,
he was able to deliver some deep balls. He used Austin Hooper a lot yesterday. That's something that I'd be interested to see. That I wish we would have asked Joe Rexford when he was on the show earlier of who were Tannehill's kind of favorite targets today. But Austin Hooper to me yesterday was his number one go-to guy. And I do think that's the value of bringing in Austin Hooper here is giving Tannehill almost sort of a comfort level of the short yardage situations with Austin Hooper. So when he does get that pressure from a Vita Vea or a Chandler Jones or whoever it might be, he can look to Austin Hooper and say, okay, you're 5, 7, 10 yards downfield, I can go to you. I think that's what I've seen a lot from Tannehill, that he hasn't crushed under the pressure of a pass rush. He's just gone to new guys.
I'm looking at Vita Vea, just his size. I mean, it's 6'4", 360. I mean, that guy is, he's built like a mountain. And just to see that.
He's massive.
He's huge.
He is absolutely massive.
Tannehill, again, he filled the pressure. This is, his 11th year now in the National Football League. So he knows how to do it. He knows how to go through this. But again, Caroline, he's looked really good these last 2 days. And, is he supposed to do that? Well, of course he's supposed to look that good. It's what you're starting quarterback to look that good. But to see him stand there and just deliver the ball, and his passes have been just perfect for the most part, you got to feel really good about that. I know they feel good about that. And then now just have to work on figuring out your backup quarterback and a few other spots. And this team's ready to go. And I like to ask people, all right, this team on the field now, we asked Jonathan Hunt yesterday. Mm-hmm. I said, all right, can this team win the Super Bowl? And he said, well, not right now. I mean, they might have to add a few pieces. But what pieces are they? I don't know. But I don't think they're the best team in football.
I wouldn't say they're the best team in football. I also wouldn't say that the Rams were the best team in football last year.
True.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll get back to your phones on that. Plus, another position that we've been looking at today, what Joe Rexrode had to say about that. What do we think that Titans are going to do moving forward? We'll get into that coming up next. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5-1063, The Game. And also, I want to let all of you know something that is very interesting and that you are going to want to hear. And that is that you can... that Nashville's best deal of the week is Old School Pizza in Brentwood. Old School Pizza was voted number 3 best new restaurant in Nashville and offers pizza and other Italian specialties. Head to theGameNashville.com/deals now to get a $30 gift card for only $15 to Old School Pizza while supplies last.
Hey everybody, Willy Donick here to tell you about Trivia Night for Stars. Think you're pretty smart? Well, come on out Wednesday, August 24th to Boom Bars East and test your trivia skills. I'll be your trivia master. We'll have sports questions, some non-sports questions, and some great prizes. It's brought to you by Nerdy Talk, and all proceeds support Stars and the hope, health, and connection of young people in our community. Register your team of no more than 4 and let the competition begin. Go to starsnashville.org to officially sign up. That's starsnashville.org. See you on August 24th at Boom Bars East.
NFL Week 1s are out, folks. And now's the time to try FanDuel Sportsbook. If you haven't already, Joe Rexford here invited you to get in on the action early this season. Right now, new FanDuel Sportsbook customers can get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. How about Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor to win the rushing title? Give me Derrick Henry. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, 8.5. I think I have to go under. There's a whole bunch of them on there, FanDuel Sportsbook. Sign up using promo code Joe102. Place your first bet. You can get up to $1,000 back in free bets if you don't win. There's no better place to get ready for the football season than on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Safe, easy, fast, secure, fun. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Sign up using promo code Joe102. Get started with a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund is due as an eligible site credit expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
The mostly sunny skies set to continue through the afternoon with no rain chance in sight today. Highs in the upper 80s, a few low 90s for the metro areas. Overnight, partly cloudy skies, temperatures dropping into the upper 60s. For Fox 17, I'm Code Red meteorologist Zach Covey.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
A new Dick's Sporting Goods warehouse sales store is now open in Franklin at Watson Glen. Get ready to score up to 70% off thousands of items from your favorite athletic brands. Check out can't-miss deals for the entire family, including tees, tanks, shorts, leggings, footwear, golf apparel, and more. Plus, new styles arrive weekly, so there's always more from the best brands. Check out your new Dick's Sporting Goods warehouse sales store for the grand opening celebration, August 19th to the 21st in Franklin at Watson Glen.
It's a fact. Guys hate going to the doctor. But when it comes to erectile dysfunction and low testosterone issues, men from all over Middle Tennessee have been thrilled seeing Dr. Alderson and their providers at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Men all the way up to 95 years old have jump-started their sex drive and energy levels. Lots of men suffer with ED for years, but now they're able to enjoy sex again. Tom from Nashville said, "The Tennessee Men's Clinic has changed my life. I have been able to be intimate with my wife for the first time in 5 years. She thought this problem was because of her, but the pills never worked for me. I had given up until I went to the clinic and realized there were more options for erectile dysfunction. Now I'm happy and my wife is happy. A visit for only $99. And that includes all testing, including a PSA and testosterone test. Give the guys at the clinic a call at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090. Or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments, extra results vary.
Robbie Stanley.
To avoid non-contact injuries and not repeat last year.
Joe Rexrode.
Just wait till next year's national TV schedule comes out.
Robbie and Rexrode. Mornings from 6 to 10 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. So we're breaking down the backup quarterback position, and it brought up a thought of a texter that we had yesterday. And all respect to this texter that we had yesterday. Love getting your thoughts into the show. But one texter texted in yesterday and said, well, if you had to pick just one player to bring in, and you had to prioritize either the backup quarterback position or the right tackle position, which would you choose? And I thought, well, in what world are we ever going to prioritize a backup position over a premier starting position? I understand that it's quarterback. It's the most valuable backup position that you probably have. But in no world would I ever prioritize backup quarterback over any starting position. And I think that we've been talking so much about the backup quarterback position because it's Logan Woodside versus Malik Willis, and versus I say very, very lightly. I think that's how a lot of people view it, when in reality it's really not the case. I think we talk about it a lot because Malik Willis is a first-year quarterback. I think we talk about it a lot because it is the preseason, and we're only seeing the backup quarterbacks. We're not seeing Tannehill out there in the preseason game. So I think that all of our judgment has been clouded by all of this backup quarterback talk. But do not get it twisted. Right tackle is much more important than backup quarterback.
Oh, absolutely it is. Yeah, if we ever talk backup quarterback again in my life, I'll be ecstatic about that, because once the season starts, hopefully we'll never see those guys again. But, yeah, the right tackle, they got to figure out what's going to happen there and put that down. Then they're good to go. Then your 11's good to go for the offensive line. You don't have to worry about it for your guys who are out there, receivers. And, I mean, so far I've liked what I've seen with Austin Hooper out there and with the receivers. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, but again, you'll see what happens once the season starts, and you got to go on the road to Buffalo in week 2, and the Raiders come back in week 3, and you have that 3-week stretch where you play the Colts twice. I mean, so, but what I've seen so far, Carolina, with Tannehill and the receivers, it's not bad.
But I look at the right tackle position, and yesterday we saw Dylan Radins working with Ryan Tannehill. Today we saw Nicholas Petit-Frere working with Tannehill. I don't think that's any sort of breaking news. That's, I think, kind of what we all expected, especially after the preseason game with them both taking snaps at right tackle. I don't think that their minds are made up by any means of who they want to start at that right tackle position. I don't evaluate offensive linemen. You are a former offensive lineman. I'll ask you, what were your thoughts?
I think that they want Radins to own this, but to go back, Petit-Frere, what he's doing and what they like him, and they just want to just jam a rookie in there right now. Let Radins make the decision for them. Like, all right, you had the preseason games, you didn't get it done. They're going to put Petit-Frere in there and then go from there. I mean, the right tackle. Somebody suggested, well, it's not as important as the left tackle. I disagree. All starting positions are important on the football team, all of them out there. But I think they've just every time, Carolina, you've been here more than I have. You've heard the quotes more than I have. I mean, they put a lot of praise on Petit-Frere.
They do.
They like him. They like his work ethic, the way he just kind of comes out here and just grasps the offense. I don't hear that from Radins.
You see that. They sing his praises, but I also think you see that on the field. The fact that he's getting first-team reps at right tackle is big. And the fact that you saw him switch over to the right side after he started on the left side in that preseason game is big, especially since he's not a right tackle.
Exactly.
He played left tackle in college. He was drafted as a left tackle. But I don't evaluate offensive linemen. Trevor Maddich, who's a college football analyst, is a former offensive lineman in college football in the NFL. He does, and this is what he had to say about Dylan Radins in the preseason game.
Yeah, the bad North Dakota State, the Bison, they were well represented yesterday by Dylan Radins. He started the game at right tackle and basically got tossed around. I mean, on the opening series for the Titans on third. There was no tight end out there. There was no help. And this happens often in preseason games where coaches will leave players on an island, whether it's a pass blocker or a corner on a wide receiver or a linebacker having to cover a running back in coverage. They'll leave them on an island to see what they can do. So Radins' first opportunity, he took his set on that guy all by himself on a big old island, and the pass rusher gave him a club with his inside arm and bent Radins over sideways away from the line of scrimmage. I mean, just about tossed him onto his ear. I'm surprised Radins didn't go down. That's where Corey Levin, I think it was Levin, bailed him out, right? But that wasn't good. That's one play. But there were so many other plays where Radins actually got his man blocked from the standpoint of the guy didn't get to the quarterback, but it looked incredibly crazy. Radins' arms and legs just spread every which way. He wasn't punching, he was catching. So he was the punching bag. He wasn't turning the defender into the punching bag. There was nothing to fear if you're a pass rusher when you rush Radins, because he's not going to harm you.
He's a local product. And that was Trevor Maddich on Stillman and Company last week about Dylan Radins in the preseason game, and he said he was bent over sideways, thrown on his ear, and the only time that he did stop his man from getting to the quarterback, said it looked crazy, that the form was off, his arms and legs were everywhere. So that doesn't make you feel great about Dylan Radins. I didn't think it was at least that egregious when I watched the game, but also I don't evaluate offensive linemen, and I did see Dylan Radins out here yesterday, and he was essentially bent over sideways, backwards, like his whole body was bent backwards because he was just getting pushed so hard, and it was holding after holding after holding. So I think it's just sloppiness, and he can't hold his own. That's what I see with Dylan Radins.
Yeah, and I think they've made it. I think they know. I just think they know they're going to let it play out the next 2 weeks, these 2 preseason games, and their week of joint practices. They know they're going to let us know that it's Petit-Frere.
But I do think that Nicholas Petit-Frere is in the running for the starting right tackle position. But do you think they could still go out and get someone else? And at what point is it, is it after this game against the Bucs? Is it after the joint practices with the Cardinals or the preseason game with the Cardinals? If they look at it and say, look, Dylan Radins, We took him in the second round. He just cannot play this position. Petit Frere, he's a rookie. He didn't play right tackle in college. That's not his position. I think he can come in and play right tackle eventually, or maybe take over the left tackle position eventually whenever Taylor Lewan makes his exit. If neither of them really are the fix, when is it just put up or shut up time? We need to go get someone else that can fill in and play this right tackle position
the
right
way
now.
John Robinson wheels and deals, I guarantee he's probably got 5 right tackles on his list right now. Let's see out there who we could bring in. Somebody that maybe it's a number 2 on another team someplace out that we can bring in here and get it done. You just can't go in the season with the uncertainty of that unless Petit Frere the next week can really establish himself, has that number 1 guy right completely without any questions, and shove Radence back in the room, then I think you should go out. I agree with you. Got to go out and look at somebody else.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. But before we go to the break, we've got your opportunity to win Papa Roach tickets on August 31st at Municipal Auditorium. So to win those tickets, be the first caller with the correct answer to Big Joe's trivia question. Take it away.
So Jeff Fisher was at a Titans practice today. The first time I've seen him out here since he was let go in 2010 or resigned, whatever you want to put it. So here's our trivia question for Jeff Fisher on these tickets. Jeff Fisher currently holds an NFL record that nobody wants to have. What record does Jeff Fisher have? He's tied with this record that nobody wants to, as a head coach. What record currently does he hold for the NFL that no other head coach wants to have? Let us know. It's pretty simple. If you know Jeff Fisher, it's pretty simple. So let us know the answer.
The first one to answer that question correctly, you are going to Papa Roach on August 31st at Municipal Auditorium. Again, that number is 615-737-1025, and you are going to see Papa Roach. Caroline Fenton, Joe Dubin, in for Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. It's 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
You watch The Game.
And he's going. Nobody's going to catch him. Derrick Henry, touchdown.
We talk The Game.
I don't think it was a bad play, but he took out their goalie.
We are The Game. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
In St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, every day is a beach day. And with 35 miles of pristine, sugary white sand, it's easy to see why. So let's grab the beach bag, the beach ball, and the boogie board. Let's pack the suits, the sunscreen, and the sunglasses. Take a dip in the emerald green waters of the Gulf. And then take in a breathtaking sunset at the end of the day. So let's make a beeline to the beach. And let's shine. Plan your next getaway at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
Blue Raider fans, Fan Day is back and better than ever. It's time to get ready for this electrifying season. Sunday, August 21st from 3 to 5. Join us inside Floyd Stadium as we kick off the 2022 MTSU athletics season.
Pizza the old school way at Old School Pizza in Brentwood. OldSchoolPizzaBrentwood.com.
Hi, I'm Chase McCabe. The Nashville Stampede Days are finally here this weekend at Bridgestone Arena, Friday through Sunday. You can get tickets by going to PBR.com or Ticketmaster.com. Nashville Stampede. Justin McBride, the head coach, says he's very excited to add three-time PBR world champion Silvano Alves to his team.
It's huge, man. That's, we're going to be able to start off the first game with Taiki Pacheco as a world champion, and in that game with Silvano Alves as a three-time world champion. So Silvano brings a lot of experience, a lot of ability, obviously, but also some great leadership qualities for the young guys. It's a guy that's been in a lot of big moments and has won those moments and been successful.
Again, Nashville Stampede Days will take place all this weekend at Bridgestone Arena. Just go to PBR.com/tickets or Ticketmaster.com. I'm Chase McCabe.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Chase Elliott scores the win in the Ally 400 at the Nashville Super Speedway.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR. 102.5 and 106.3. Terang, it's a high fly ball. We got pass rushes. Awesome game.
Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willy Donick.
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee.
And former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3, The Game, and the Game Nashville app. You can watch us streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live every day. Our video streaming is brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We're live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. No Chase, Willy, or D-Mace today, but you got Caroline Fenton, Joe Dubin. We're out at St. Thomas Sports Park where we watched the Tampa Bay Buccaneers joint practice with the Tennessee Titans, and we worked on a lot of practice. We're going to take a quick little breather, Joe, because the Nashville Predators have a very big announcement, and I'm waiting for them to make the announcement on their own. They said that they will announce some fun stuff at 1 o'clock today. I know what it is, but I'm not going to spill it to the people until the Nashville Predators make their own announcement.
So fun stuff.
Fun
there it is.
stuff.
It's up.
They tweeted, did they?
Yep. Well, Chris Johnston, for the 102.5, the account, the 2023 NHL Awards and NHL Draft are officially hitting the Nashville.
That is the announcement. The 2023 NHL Draft and Awards will be in Nashville, so we can look forward to that. I'm excited. That's a huge thing, I think, for Nashville.
Huge thing.
I mean, you look at, the All-Star game, the NHL All-Star game that was here in Nashville a few years ago, and, and different sport, obviously, but the NFL draft here a few years ago. It's a huge thing for the Predators, getting that kind of face time with the rest of the league. And also, it's a huge thing for the city. All the bars and the restaurants around the city on Broadway, getting all of those people and that foot traffic in here in Nashville. It's exciting. I'm very, very excited for the Nashville Predators.
As we get the lawnmower from yesterday to come by here and do that right in front of us.
Yes.
That's all right, though. No, it's a big deal. I mean, was it 2016 when the All-Star game was here? That was a blast. All the activities that went on downtown was really cool. And of course, the NFL draft in 2019 that was here. But it's good. Anytime you get to focus on Nashville from a professional league like this, it's fantastic. So good for the Predators. And but you kind of knew already, Caroline?
I did. I got an inside tip. Pays to have friends in high places, doesn't it? Yeah. But also, I did not know this. I didn't realize this. This was put out by NHL PR, that Nashville is the first city since 2006 to hold both the draft and the awards.
Ooh, yeah.
So that's exciting.
Yeah. What were the awards last year? Were the Vegas, right? Where they've always been last couple of years? Is that right?
Or were they in Canada?
No, they were in Vegas for sure.
They were in Vegas. Okay, the draft was in Canada.
Yes.
Okay. Well, very exciting. Excited for the Nashville Predators. Excited for the city that the NHL Draft. All eyes will be on Nashville.
Make that one big weekend? Like the awards on Wednesday?
I would assume so.
Just keep everybody here?
I'm sure they will. Yeah, because this past year, the draft and the awards were like maybe a week apart, I want to say. It's really easy to hear with that lawnmower on, isn't it? Really comfortable feeling.
Well, there's like 18,000 square yards out here of practice field, and they're right in front of us, which makes me laugh every time. Because I think some of it's maybe a little intentional, maybe.
Do they not like us?
No, I think they love it. I think it's just kind of
stick it to the man.
It's like when you see somebody, when I go to driving range, and the guy that's collecting golf balls is driving by, I do everything in my power to hit that cart. Right? I just do.
It's just to be a
menace.
menace.
What I'm saying? I mean, the same thing. Do you ever do that, Jeannie?
Maybe this is just karma coming back to bite you.
It could be.
It very well could be.
If you're driving the golf cart, pickup ball truck, whatever, I'm aiming for you every time. I'm not going to hit you because I'm terrible, but I'm aiming for you every time. But it could be karma coming back.
But again, the exciting news of the day, Nashville will host the 2023 NHL Draft and the NHL Draft Awards, or NHL Awards, rather. So, yay. Looking forward to that. Congratulations to the Predators, and congratulations to everybody. So, another kind of story that I've been following over the past couple of days, it was announced yesterday via ESPN that the College Football Playoff Committee has been in meetings and discussions of potentially changing the governing body of college football from the NCAA to potentially the College Football Playoff. So what that would look like is the current state of college football. Now its governing body is the NCAA, and that is, every team from Alabama all the way to, South Carolina East-West State Tech University. The way that this would look is that the College Football Playoff would be the new governing body of whatever league and conferences of college football they deem fit. So essentially the way that I interpret this is super conferences are coming. Mm-hmm. The College Football Playoff wants to capitalize on it. And essentially all the other smaller schools who aren't part of the super conference are going to be left behind.
Yeah.
And they will be part of the NCAA, this separate league of college football under the NCAA, and the College Football Playoff will be the division or league of the super conference of teams will be, the real college football, competing for the College Football Playoff, competing for the College Football Championship. Because let's not forget that the NCAA has no governance over the College Football Playoff.
Correct.
It is not the NCAA College Football Championship. It is the College Football Playoff, College Football Championship. Mm-hmm. So it would essentially, College Football Playoff would essentially become the governing body of the entire season. And I think we all kind of knew that it was coming to this.
Right.
When Texas and Oklahoma joined the SEC. And then the next domino that fell was USC and UCLA to the Big Ten. I think we all kind of felt like it was super conferences were coming sooner rather than later. We just didn't know when it would be and what it would look like. And of course, all of this discussion about the College Football Playoff eventually becoming, or, the discussions of the College Football Playoff being a governing body in college football, they said it's in the very, very, very early stages. They've just had very initial meetings, having initial conversations about what that would look like. And it says here that, look at it like a marathon. This isn't going to be anything that happens very soon, but also I've heard that before.
Right.
The ESPN's contract with the College Football Playoff expires in 2025. What that looks like after that, I'm not sure. But I think we all kind of knew that this was coming sooner rather than later. And this is, I think, a big catalyst and also a big proving point that it is going to come. That super conferences are coming, and that the NCAA is only going to become more and more obsolete.
It is, and you're right with Texas, Oklahoma making that move. That's when kind of all like, all right, here we go. And then USC, I'm sorry. It's just, hasn't he already mowed over this like 4 times already? I'm not sure.
He keeps backing up, too.
He's backing up. Oh, my goodness. All right, so now he's moving on. Yeah, so USC and UCLA, make that move to the Big Ten, which, by the way, Big Ten today really irked me with and CBS, too, getting the stealing the music from the SEC with their big tweet today about all the Big Ten football coming to CBS in 2023.
Yeah, CBS, Fox, NBC, and Big Ten Network.
Right.
Has any conference had that many media partners at once? I don't think so.
No, not at all. And so I'm not sure Big Ten. I'll watch, but Big Ten football is not going to really resonate because you're in the South. Same way the SC doesn't resonate up north with the Big Ten fans, which is fine.
It's fine.
I get all that.
And I'll watch the Big Ten games, but I'm not going to wake up on a Saturday morning and say, you know what I'm looking forward to?
Right.
Rutgers, Nebraska. Bring it on, baby.
Well, it's funny you should say that because somebody tweeted today and said, I can't wait to see Rutgers. I forget what a team like Maryland.
It's always Rutgers.
And it was like, yeah, we're going to miss out that Missouri-Vandy game, something like that. And
Fair
somebody
point.
tweeted back and says, hey, by the way, Vanderbilt's only been on CBS a couple times. The Missouri-Vandy always gets relegated to the alternate channel on the SEC network or something.
ESPNU.
Yes. So, Super Conference are coming. Again, and I've said this before, I think I've been with you, we all lose the talk of on the field, man. I just want to see Tennessee and LSU in that game October the 8th. I want to see Georgia, Florida. I mean, and it's like, well, what Super Conference is next? What's going to happen down the road? Why can't we just talk about 2022, man? What's happening? I want to see how Brian Kelly's going to do at LSU, I want there's like big changes that are happening in the league. let's talk about that. And they just all want to talk about these super conferences and what's happening down the pike. And I think sometimes it's unfair to these programs, these kids who are the season at hand, and we don't talk about that enough.
And I'm with you that it's frustrating that college football has gotten to this point where so much of the conversation isn't, because it's August 18th. College football starts in 2-3 weeks.
Starts next week, Saturday.
Is it? It is next week.
Yeah, Vanderbilt versus Hawaii next Saturday.
Another game that I'm just shaking my boots to watch. But we could be talking about those games, and, to be completely honest with you, I have no interest in breaking down a Vanderbilt game, no disrespect to Vanderbilt. But that's the conversation now, is the business side of college football, is there is so much money to be made in the sport of college football, and it's all about who's going to be able to capitalize on it. The college football playoff sees this massive cash cow in a potential super conference. I mean, you look at the Big Ten, their deal with Fox that was finalized today, all of their TV money will be combined to be over $1 billion. And that is one single conference. If you combine the Big Ten and the SEC, I mean, you're looking at a $2 billion plus business. And the college football playoff sees that and wants to capitalize on it. These conferences, Greg Sankey and these university presidents and chancellors, they see that opportunity and capitalize on it because it's a cash cow and there's money to be made there. And it's a business. I understand that. But potentially moving a portion of college football into a different governing body is such a massive seismic change in college football. And I don't want to, sound like a traditionalist here, but that changes college football so much so, more so than UCLA and USC moving to the Big Ten. I mean, you're looking at a completely different league, essentially.
Oh, absolutely you are. And, that's the big announcement with the Big Ten, right, going on those different platforms and everything. I mean, that's just crazy how much they're going to be, that footprint now for the Big Ten with what their new deal has. And, good for them. The more football we can see, the more cultural we can see. I mean, I love college football. The more we can see about that, that's the better. But that's a lot, boy. They just, all the different networks and the platforms doing that, unheard of before, not seen before.
And what exactly will those changes look like? And have the college football insiders foreseen this for a lot longer than we have? I want to get into that coming up next. Caroline Fenton, Big Joe Juvenitz, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And hey, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game is bringing you Nashville's best coverage of Titans training camp presented by Parman Energy, your one-stop petroleum solution.
Nashville.
They're still in good shape to make the playoffs.
And I-840.
Players make it clear they don't want to be somewhere anymore.
There's a new way to hear all your favorite shows and sports programming on 102.5 The Game.
And he has added players that do fit.
What I was worried about is that they were still just going to keep the goal.
It's 106.3 FM.
Think about all the good Titans teams. This is very much so a run-first offense.
Now you have two choices to hear Nashville's best sports talk. Check out 106.3 now and add it as a favorite.
Celebrate back-to-school season with Hiller. This month only, get free backyard upgrades when you replace essential home systems like a free Traeger grill with a new whole home generator or a free Yeti cooler with a new tankless water heater. And Hiller's keeping you cool for back-to-school with zero-interest financing for up to 12 months on select new HVAC systems. Visit happyhiller.com. Happy you'll be, or the service is free.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Are you sick and tired of constant pain in your knees, hips, or back? Especially this time of the year. You need to be moving pain-free, right? Hey, Willy Donick here for the team at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is helping people every day, giving them lasting pain relief using the latest advances in regenerative medicine. The science is simple. They concentrate your own body's healing agents and apply them to your aching joints, restoring and repairing the damaged tissue. No drugs, no steroids, no surgery. The old remedies for pain are not the only remedies. You need to learn more about how regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics can change your life. Make this the last summer you suffer from chronic pain. They've got clinics here and all over America. This is the exciting new, natural way to deal with joint pain. No side effects, no downtime. So call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
Genesis Diamond's most extreme value on diamonds is coming to an end. You have until Sunday at 5 p.m. to get the price of a lifetime on a certified GIA diamond ring.
Response has been incredible. People have driven for hours to buy like a dealer buys. All GIA certified diamond rings are on sale. A full 20% discount off Genesis' amazing everyday value price.
We're talking values you never thought possible. From a half carat to 20 carat diamonds, all hand-picked for maximum brilliance and all graded by the most prestigious gem lab in the world.
Don't be surprised to see jewelry store owners and diamond dealers shopping alongside you.
Rounds, ovals, princess cuts, cushion cuts, emerald cuts. Genesis has the largest GIA diamond selection you've ever seen.
And now through Sunday, you can take advantage of this rare buying opportunity. Limit one per customer, please.
Get the Genesis no middleman direct importer price minus an extra 20% on all GIA diamond engagement rings. Now through Sunday only at Genesis Diamonds.
Green Hills and Cool Springs.
See store for details.
I'm Cindy Mae Johnson from Mountaintop Media in Pikeville, Kentucky. You may have seen or heard about the flash flood disaster our people have suffered, but I promise you no news story can accurately convey how much help is needed. Lives have been lost, homes destroyed. If you're willing or able to help even a little, donate to the East Kentucky Dream Center on Venmo or at ekdc.raisegiving.com. That's ekdc.raisegiving.com. Thank you.
I love this show.
Never miss a moment of the show.
Okay, all right, okay.
Subscribe to the Chase, Willy, and D-Mase podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
One thing that maybe is getting overlooked, I know your USC brethren are excited about this, but if you're at, I don't know, Arizona or Arizona State or Cal or, some of these other schools, you wonder what they're thinking right now. You wonder what their fan base is thinking, because I think you mentioned too, the more I listen and the more I'm talking to people, I wouldn't be surprised if we settle ultimately at 3 power conferences. You know, those teams that are left out of joining the Big Ten. I don't know what's going to happen with Notre Dame, but just for argument's sake, if they eventually give in and go to the Big Ten, that put the Big Ten at 17. You know the Big Ten is going to go get 1 more or 2 more, right? So that'll change things up drastically. But whoever's left when the dust settles, they don't go into the SEC. They don't go into the Big Ten. I think there's a good chance we're going to end up with 3 power conferences with right around 20 teams. And what I want to know is what will happen to the teams that are left out of those 55 to 60 teams that ultimately are going to kind of be in this new world that we're headed towards, where college football playoff is kind of dictating it.
That was Kirk Herbstreit after USC and UCLA entered the Big Ten, and I think it's really interesting what Kirk Herbstreit says, because he says, with the college football playoff kind of dictating all of these changes of, could there be a three conference, super conference, or super team in college football? And he mentions the college football playoff because that's exactly who is kind of be the catalyst in these changes in college football, because it was released yesterday. This is an article by Pete Thamel highlighting that there are 11 college presidents and chancellors in the College Football Playoff Board of Managers that met on Monday to potentially discuss college football playoff taking over a portion of college football teams and making that the governing body of college football over the NCAA. And in this article, Pete Thamel hammers on the fact that I know this is just a brief discussion, and these are such early stages, and there's so many things that need to be planned out, that this is a marathon, this is not a sprint. However, you can say that all you want. This is such a significant conversation about the future of college football. You take college football away, you take certain college football teams away from the NCAA. First and foremost, does that basically make you not a student athlete?
Yeah, I don't. So they're going to pick and choose this new college, whatever league is going to pick and choose their teams?
I don't know. But honestly, if I'm the college football playoff, I mean, that's a governing body, or at least a property that is powerful enough to make this move happen. There's so much money, and there are so many important players in college football that are part of the College Football Playoff Committee or Board of Directors or whatever you want to call it, including Greg Sankey and Jack Swarbrick, the AD at Notre Dame. So many big players within the College Football Playoff that they could make this kind of move happen. So I guess if they did want to do that, They could pick and choose if they wanted to.
So then there goes the end of the SEC as we know it, the Big Ten as we know it.
I think it would look more so like super conferences. So it would be the SEC, the Big Ten, and let's say the ACC all kind of grouping together, and maybe it's the SEC plus a few teams or the ACC plus a few teams that would all come together and form this sort of super conference. Now, the key thing here is they're going to have to work within TV deals. Or will they? I don't know. Are these TV deals dependent on the governing body of these schools? I don't know how much the NCAA gets.
Doesn't the ACC have some deal to 2035 or something?
The ACC has a deal with ESPN through 2035, which is basically close to impossible to get out of. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how that works. But I don't know how much of a say the NCAA has within these TV contracts.
Yeah.
Because is it dependent on the ACC being a part of a governing body of the NCAA? I have a hard time thinking that it would be, because the CFP has a media deal with ESPN. And I don't think ESPN would be making any sort of moves with the college football playoff that would inhibit any of their existing deals with the ACC, with the SEC, so on and so forth.
So the Big Ten's got their deal with CBS, and like, oh, we don't be part of this. We're doing okay on our own over there. There's just so many things to figure out and so many deals you got to get worked out. I don't see how this is going to be easy at all. I just think it's going to take for years to figure this out.
Well, it probably would. But it would also, the incentive, I'm sure, a lot of people are thinking, what's the incentive here? Why would they do that? Why break away from the NCAA? Because all of these SEC, Big Ten, ACC, these big-time programs in college football have to also work within the NCAA guidelines with the smaller schools, with the Toledos and the Fresno States and the San Diego States of the world. These smaller programs, they have to confine to those guidelines as well. So I think that these Alabamas and these Ohio States look at this as an opportunity to break away from quote unquote dead weight of the rest of the NCAA and be able to kind of form their own college football playoff, their own college football division. And I don't know exactly what it looks like. I don't know what the television deals, what kind of clauses are in there, how it's dependent on the NCAA, or if it even does at all. Because that's what this all is going to be dictated by, is TV money and TV deals, because that's where all the money comes from. But are you essentially no longer a student athlete? Because the NCAA has very, very little power now that NIL is allowed. So would they be held under the same student athlete grade guidelines? Do you have to go to class? Do you even have to be enrolled at the university with a new governing body over that? And then what happens with these smaller programs that if the college football playoff did decide to make these, these 2 or 3 super conferences without the East-West Technical State University, without those involved, then would those basically become obsolete because they no longer have the TV money that gets contributed by the bigger players here, that they don't have the $1 million, $2 million, $5 million buyouts to go, for Troy to go play Tennessee? They're not getting that income anymore because they're no longer under the same umbrella. My head hurts too.
Just thinking of all this, it gets my head because this has got to happen, and this will happen, and this is going to go piggyback off of this, and then this here, then that here, and then, they could all be like, oh, never mind, that's not the avenue we want to go down, then go down another avenue. Just really complicated to figure all this stuff out, and the deals that are already in place, and man, I'm not a smart man, and I just can't try to wrap my mind around all this. It's like, oh my Lord, what's going to happen next? And, just wait 24 hours, something else will happen.
But I think the interesting thing here, too, is because this is a conversation that was had among the College Football Playoff Board of Managers. The important thing to look at is who is on that. Because there's not going to be a member of this Board of Managers that's going to do anything that would hurt their football programs or their athletics. So you look at the Board of Managers, the 11 university presidents and chancellors that are having these conversations. One, Tim Caboni, president of Western Kentucky. I don't think Western Kentucky is going to be involved in these conversations of a super conference.
Nope.
So they don't do that, Junie. They're not. So I don't think that, no disrespect to the Hilltoppers, but I don't think if College Football Playoff wants to make these super conferences and break away from the NCAA, I don't think that he's for it. Jim Clements, Clemson, he's probably for it. Gordon Gee, West Virginia. West Virginia, I don't think that he is going to be, or at least West Virginia at least doesn't have a full-time home.
You know where Gordon Gee used to be chancellor at Caroline? Vanderbilt University.
Vanderbilt University. I've heard that the clientele at West Virginia and Vanderbilt is very similar.
Yeah, that's it. So he's at West Virginia. I think he went to Ohio State after
President
Vanderbilt.
of West Virginia, yep.
I had nothing bad to say about Gordon Gee. I think his wife did something about marijuana. They smoked marijuana in the residence or something a long time ago. Yeah, that was the story. And then he goes up to Ohio State and all that. But we're going back 25, 30 years
Good
now.
for them. Whatever you want to do in your free time, go for it. Another member is Jack Hawkins, the chancellor at Troy. If I'm Troy, I probably don't want Alabama and Ohio State and Clemson to break away from the NCAA. John Jenkins, president of Notre Dame, I think that he's probably fine with it. And then also president of Mississippi State, president of Washington State. See, Washington State's an interesting one here. What does the future of the Pac-12 look like? Because Washington State doesn't seem like the most attractive team to bring into your conference. The president of Buffalo, Satish Tripathi. If I'm Buffalo, I don't want those teams leaving.
No.
President of SMU, the president of UNLV. See, this board of managers is comprised almost completely of presidents and chancellors of teams that will not be included in the super conference, at least that I have to think about. So if I'm them, are you going to write off on this?
No, of course not.
Of course not.
Get a lot of money paid playing those
not.
teams.
And if they are interested, then does that mean that those teams are included? That all of these teams in college football will no longer be governed by the NCAA, but also by the college football playoff? Would it be everyone involved? If they're on board for it, that's the only way I see that happening, is if you go, we all go.
Oh, you're right. Real quick before we finish the college football talk, we're going to be joined by Gallatin head football coach Chad Watson in the next segment. They take on Mount Juliet Friday night. But this came out today. UT is bringing back the smoky gray uniforms. They're going to be one game this year and for the next 4 years. They debuted these uniforms back in 2013. They had losses that year to Georgia and Vanderbilt. Relaunched in 2015 with a new Nike design. Had better results, they said. This according to the Knoxville News Sentinel. They were the smoky gray in a pair of 21-point comeback wins over Georgia in 2015 and Florida in 2016. They donned them again to beat Nebraska in the Music City Bowl in 2016. They last wore smoky grays in a 41-0 loss to Georgia, Butch Jones' final season. Now they're bringing it back. I told you, I'm not a fan of the smoky grays. Maybe I'm just an old man, but I like the orange and the white. I just think that pops, looks good. I wish they'd wear all orange uniforms if they could, but they rarely do that, so I'm not a fan. But they're not asking me, Caroline.
Well, I think they should. I think they very much so
I'm
should.
just an old man.
I'm a traditionalist. I think the smoky grays look cool, but also just give me orange and white. I'm fine with that.
That's right. You can imagine Alabama changing something up. That's not, and I know Georgia's incorporated the black jerseys into their rotation. That's part of their colors, though, and they've had that. But I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan when Florida goes back that old style throwback F on the helmet. There, I'm not a fan of that. But
I do like the throwbacks.
Do you? I know.
But I don't like the chrome helmets or the matte helmets. I could do without those.
Chrome looks good. Western Kentucky chrome helmets look
Those are
really
cool.
good.
I love the little Western Kentucky little ghost guy
Ghost guy.
that's on the helmets. He looks like the
big blob?
Hamburglar.
Oh, are you talking about Big Red?
Big Red.
whatever his name is.
He's only the most infamous mascot in all of college football. Listen, you can down Western Kentucky about being in a power conference, but do not talk about my guy, Big Red.
Oh, no, I said he's cute. I like him.
He is.
I think he's cute on the little helmets.
No, he's awesome. But actually,
like
fun
those.
fact: Western Kentucky is the first school in FBS to use chrome helmets. So
Ah.
so everybody else can get rid of chrome
Set the
helmets, but
trend.
Western Kentucky can keep it.
They look
Okay,
good.
all
For some, they
right.
look with the red uniforms. They look good. I like that look there. But I'm a traditionalist. And I like it's the old. Bring me the orange and white, man.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. If you have a thought on that, we'll get to those. But before we do that, coming up next, we will chat with the head coach at Gallatin High, Chad Watson, about their season. And also, congratulations to Sam, who got Joe Jubin's trivia question correct. You were going to Papa Roach, Sam. Go enjoy it.
This is Tanner Janot, and this is Smashville.
And now down the right wing side, Tanner Janot. His shot, he scored! Tanner Janot with the shot!
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators Radio Network. ESPN 1025, The Game.
Hey, Willie Donick here. I'm on vacation right now, but I need to tell you once again about my friends at Loan Pronto. It's an all-digital, super-fast process that is helping people get the lowest rates and get cash to take action with financially in a number of different forms. So right now, you might have a current rate that's over 5%. You need to call Loan Pronto. Maybe you need to pay off some high-interest credit cards. Call Loan Pronto. They can help you keep more money in your pocket and help you address your financial needs. Ask them about their home equity line of credit program that can get you some cash without doing a full refi. You can do all of this stuff now and even skip your next 2 house payments if this applies to you. Call Loan Pronto for the info. They've got a lot of great programs that they can help you with very, very fast. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Do I need Medicare when I turn 65, or can I wait?
With more than 70 years of experience helping Tennesseans, Farm Bureau Health Plans can answer all your questions about Medicare.
Part A, B, C, D, it's all alphabet soup to me.
So if you're looking for an affordable way to cover the gaps left by Medicare or protection from the high cost of prescription drugs, you can plan on us to make it easy. Find out more at fbhp.com. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Plan on us.
The Nashville Sheriff is hiring correctional officers. Earn $52,500 after paid training and probation. Positions are available immediately. You must be 21 and over with a high school diploma or GED. Come, join our family. That's $52,500 with great benefits. Apply now at sheriff.nashville.gov/apply or call 615-862-8170. Earn $52,500. Stop searching. Apply now. The Nashville Sheriff.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN.
Welcome into Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Somebody company is delivered.
There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have 2 choices to hear our great sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators. Scores! Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey Nashville, this is Paul Feinbaum and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Big Joe Dubin is going to be hosting Friday Night Blitz every Friday from 6 to midnight. So to get that all kicked off, Chad Watson, Gallatin High School football coach, joins us now. Coach, your season starts tomorrow. What are we looking forward to?
Just all the work that we've put over the last few months and our guys investing day in and day out, finally getting the opportunity to go out there and showcase what we've been working on for the past few months and get to compete with somebody else.
Coach, good to hear your voice again. I got to tell you, I mean, you got Mount Juliet coming in tomorrow night to what I think is one of the best settings for high school football in all of Middle Tennessee. Just talk about the kind of environment you'd like to see tomorrow night from the Green Wave family out there as you welcome Mount Juliet to town.
We would love to see the Wave Yard packed. I mean, Gallatin's got a following unlike anywhere else. Going to be a great football atmosphere, great weather. It's the perfect night to kick off the season. So we just wanted people to come out and support our kids. I can assure you they work really, really hard to go out and perform their best on Friday night.
Is this, Coach, your 4th year now at Gallatin?
Yeah, it is my 4th year.
4th year, and I would say I'd hope you'd start off a little bit easier competition of your first game, but as you've well seen over the years, I mean, there's a lot of good football and high school football around here, isn't there?
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like we play in a really, really good region. The Sumner County schools, there's a lot of good football here in Sumner County, and also the schools from Montgomery County. So in our non-region is tough, man. We got Mount Juliet, Blackman, Lebanon, just Cookville, a lot of really, really good football teams that we have to play week in and week out.
Again, we are talking to Chad Watson, Gallatin High School football head coach. Who are some guys in your team that people around Nashville should probably take notice of, guys that you're really excited to watch this year?
I think the biggest name we have is Jaheim Merriweather. He's got 20-plus offers. Has been offered by 5 or 6 SEC schools, Michigan, Michigan State, Nebraska. He's a 6'2.5", 190-pound athlete who can really go at any moment in time. Our quarterback is our leader, Luke Cook, 6'3", 170, tall, athletic kid. Does a really, really good job of running our offense. Also plays corner for us. And Zakian Brinkley, who is our fullback offensively. He's 5'9", 250 pounds. He's wearing number 0 this year, so we said he's a big donut going through the middle. He's a load and he's hard to tackle. But those are 3 kids that I think you can really look out for on Friday night.
So when you're the coach of a player that has so many high-end offers like that, like you said, in the Big Ten and the SEC, how do you view your role as a head coach, not just on the field but off the field as well, helping him facilitate this process of picking where he's going to play college ball?
Me and Jaheim have a really good relationship, and I think the main thing I want to do is for him to appreciate the opportunities that he has, helping him understand that he's not normal. I mean, the opportunities that he has, every other kid on our team would dream and hope and wish that could happen to them. So I want to make sure he makes the most of it. I talked to him about the classroom and making sure that he's doing his part on the academic end. But not only that, like I played at Austin Peay, which is not near the level he's been offered at, but just assuring him that your talent is only going to take you so far, that we got to be creating good practice habits. Because once you get to, like, for if he ended up at Michigan or Nebraska, everybody there has got just as much talent as he does. It's going to be the guys that work hard, do the little things the right way that are going to end up seeing the field.
Talking to Chad Watson, head football coach at Gallatin High School. They kick off the season Friday night versus Mount Juliet in Gallatin. Coach, we've talked about this before. I mean, being the head coach at Gallatin High School is a lot of responsibility for the history and the traditions got there. So when you took this job over 4 years ago, you knew all about the pressure and what this program means to a lot of people, didn't you?
A good football program then, rolling, honestly. And just having the opportunity to be a part of this program and the history of this program, it's not anything that I take for granted, and I really, really appreciate it. It feels like it's an honor to be called the head coach at Gallatin, but we just want to make this community proud and give our best effort and do things the right way and earn the G, as we like to say around here.
Nice. I got to say, you guys, of course, your big rival with the Gallatin, Hendersonville. Now, will you go tonight and see Hendersonville and Oakland, or are you going to stay at home tonight?
I'm going to actually, my 5-year-old son, Samson, is playing flag football up here with FCA, and I got to coach his practice right after our practice. So I'm going to hang home. Thursday night's kind of my family night with the kids, but luckily through NFHS, I can watch it at home, so I'll be able to watch the game and hang out with the kids.
Again, we're talking to Gallatin High head football coach Chad Watson. Chad, you've been here for a few years now at Gallatin as the head coach. What's the goal going into the 2022 season for you?
Our goal as a team, as we talk about day in and day out, our number one goal is to win a region championship. With the history and everything and the traditions we have at Gallatin, it's been 16 years since we won a region title outright. And that's what our kids have been talking about every single day since January. That's what we break it down on every day. So that is definitely number one goal for this program right now.
I love it. Coach, I had a conversation with a guy last night. We're talking about the beach game in Gallatin that you guys back in 2019 played, and just 10,000 people at that game, that environment for high school football. That makes it really special. And you've got, the beach on the schedule, Clarksville and Hendersonville. But as you well know, we talked earlier, every Friday night, it's a battle. There's not a single game on your schedule I'm looking at that you can go and say, you know what, if we play maybe half our best, we can win this game. It's competitive week in and week out. I think that makes it fun, Coach, I think, for being a high school football coach now, because every Friday night, anything can happen.
Yeah, for sure. And like we got to tell our guys, we got to focus on us. We got to have the best we can practice possible, and we can't overlook anybody, and we can't fall into distractions. But man, it's a tough road. We feel like it's going to play off, or it's going to benefit us when we get to the playoffs, being battle tested the way that we're going to be battle tested.
Blackman, I know you get to talk about Mount Juliet this game, but going to Blackman next week, I mean, off the gate, Mount Juliet and Blackman at Blackman. Did you come up with the schedule, Coach?
I did. I scheduled this. It is what it is. It's hard to find games. We definitely wanted to keep Mount Juliet on the schedule, but ultimately we want to have a competitive setting for our guys to play in.
Well, it's fantastic. Coach, I think the world of you. Best luck tomorrow night. I know you're busy getting preparation for the game tomorrow night for Mount Juliet, but thanks for taking time out, Coach. We appreciate you, and we'll hopefully talk to you tomorrow night, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate you all having me on.
Chad Watson, head football coach at Gallatin, and for those that grew up in this area, Gallatin has a long history of winning, especially back in the 70s and 80s. And I'll tell you, Caroline, that is a fantastic environment for Friday night football. I mean, you're on top of the players. It's nice, nestled there in a little neighborhood. It's what makes high school football so special.
And speaking of Friday Night Football, you will be hosting Friday Night Blitz on Fridays from 6 to midnight here on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. What can the people get excited about? What are they getting on Friday nights from you?
Well, it's going to be, we call it Red Zone for high school football. I mean, it's fast, it's quick. Elijah Campbell and I will be doing it starting at 6 o'clock, 6 hours every Friday night for high school football coverage. We'll talk to coaches, we'll talk to players, we'll talk to reporters. We get people calling in and everything. So it's really quick. When you're out on a Friday night, you want to get scored as quickly as possible. It's not so much you care about who scored or how many touchdowns did so-and-so have. Give me the score and let's move on. And so we'll do that. It's fast, it's fun-paced. And I've told Chase this. We did it years ago in my years of broadcasting, 25 years or so. Doing the game blitz on 102.5 is the most gratifying and fun thing I've ever done because NFL's got 6 days a week. They can have college, whatever. Give the high school teams their Friday night, their little box on a Friday night, and let's dedicate that to them. So I appreciate Dennis and Bud and Chase for letting us bring back the game blitz. And, again, 6 hours of high school football coverage tomorrow night brought to you by Apple Collision Center, and we're fired up, man.
I'm fired up for it. I'm absolutely fired up for it. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Coming up next, we'll get into your thoughts on some of the biggest stories of the day. Deshaun Watson, it's been released by the NFL that he will be suspended for 11 games with a $5 million fine. We'll get your thoughts on that. Plus, college football. Could we potentially see it break away from the NCAA? And also, of course, we're out here at St. Thomas Sports Park. Do not want to ignore that the Titans had training camp today, a joint practice with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll get into your thoughts on all of that. Caroline Fenton, Joe Dubin is 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
At some point, it's a combination of who did you play and what does your skill set look like.
Get the best analysis of the big stories in the sports world with ESPN's Jason Fitz.
If you reach for a quarterback in the draft because you need one, you're going to set your franchise back 5 years.
Join Fitzy every Wednesday at 4:30. Presented by Blood Assurance. Jason Fitz.
I am 5'9.5"
on ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
The mostly sunny skies set to continue through the afternoon with no rain chance in sight today. Highs in the upper 80s, a few low 90s for the metro areas. Overnight, partly cloudy skies, temperatures dropping into the upper 60s. For Fox 17, I'm Code Red meteorologist Zach Covey.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Here are a few quick divorce tips that we provide our clients. Number 1, don't move out of your house just because your wife tells you to. Remember, that's your house too. And number 2, don't blow through the financial statements that you file with the court. These are key exhibits, and they often make or break your case. And number 3, watch the social networking. Expect your wife's lawyer to do a thorough online search. And incidentally, this is a two-way street. Now a bonus tip. Partner with your attorney in assembling evidence. You're one of the 2 leading experts on your life and marriage. Your attorney needs your input to achieve your goals. And finally, talk to your attorney before taking action. Good luck.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Nashville area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. Cordell & Cordell, 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067.
A new Dick's Sporting Goods warehouse sales store is now open in Franklin at Watson Glen. Get ready to score up to 70% off thousands of items from your favorite athletic brands. Check out can't miss deals for the entire family, including tees, tanks, shorts, leggings, footwear, golf apparel, and more. Plus, new styles arrive weekly, so there's always more from the best brands. Check out your new Dick's Sporting Goods warehouse sales store for the grand opening celebration, August 19th to the 21st in Franklin at Watson Glen.
This September, the Chainsmokers hit Music City at the Blended Wine and Music Festival. 24 bands, 2 stages, 1 weekend, all under the Nashville skyline. Performances by the Chainsmokers, Loud Luxury, Sick Kick, Fetty Wap, Breland, and more. September 10th and 11th, the ultimate social experience drops in Music City. Enjoy a massive 100-foot wine tent, culinary village, and wellness lounge. Get tickets now at blendedfestival.com.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics at TriStar Skyline offers world-class orthopedic care. The doctors at their Dickerson Road location specialize in general orthopedics, arthroscopic surgery for general orthopedics and sports medicine, hip, knee, and shoulder, as well as hand, wrist, and elbow trauma. They offer same-day appointments, too, so you can get back to enjoying life sooner. Schedule your appointment now at tn.houston.com. Conveniently located at the TriStar Skyline Medical Center in Nashville. When experience matters, trust Houston Clinic Orthopedics.
Jared Stillman.
If you get 3 games where he doesn't turn the ball over, you're going to the Super Bowl.
Caroline Fenton.
I don't know if he would be open to joining another team.
Stillman and Company. Afternoons from 2 to 6.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Caroline Fenton, Joe Dubin here. Joe, unless you have a thought to the phones.
No, I like interacting with the people.
To the phones. Josh from Dixon texts in about college football. And about how college football playoff could potentially, or there are talks of potentially becoming the new governing body of college football over the NCAA. But Josh texts in and says, I hate what college football is becoming. I agree. Let's just stop talking about the business side of football and get back to just talking about the football. We're tired of hearing about it. Let us enjoy this last couple of months of normal season.
Love it.
I hear you. All I'd love to do is break down, the SEC and who we think is going to win it, who's the second best quarterback behind Bryce Young, who's the third best team against Georgia and Alabama. I know. But you can't ignore these kinds of things. And there's a new business side of college football story that comes out seemingly every single day. The Fox deal with the Big Ten, the fact that ESPN won't carry any Big Ten games, I think, for the first time ever. That's a big deal. The fact that the NCAA might not be the governing body of college football for the first time ever. Those are massive, massive stories. So I'm with you. As much as I'd love to just talk about the stuff on the field, it's hard to ignore. And ultimately, I do think that's a bad thing for college football. That day after day after day, the conversation is about NIL and transfer portal and conference realignment and college football playoff expansion. Those, I think, ultimately are bad things for college football because we're going to get sick of talking about it. But we have to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of it. I mean, I know you put it out there and all that, but again, let's just talk games. I mean, that's just, a week from Saturday. I mean, the schedule starts with, Vanderbilt plays Hawaii that night. And this all too focuses on everything that's not on the field just drives me insane because it's always something new popping up every day or this or that or, hey, they're going to add this team to the conference. I mean, that's fine. Let's just play what you got right now and go out there and get the schedule. I'm an SEC homer. I love SEC football. Mm-hmm. I'll watch that closer. I'll watch Vanderbilt, Missouri. I'll watch Tennessee take on Kentucky more than I will anything else. These games in our backyard because I just enjoy that. And I think all this happened. I mean, it's kind of like, all right, you won the conference. Oh, well, but did you win the national championship? Nobody cares. I mean, still winning the SEC is a big deal. It's a big deal that I think people are trying to get away from, and they shouldn't.
You could argue it's more difficult to win the SEC championship than it is the national
right?
championship.
Exactly.
Who won the SEC championship?
Alabama.
Who did not win the national championship?
Alabama.
So, I mean, I'm with you, and it's tough, but it's something that's difficult to ignore. But also, another thing that I'd like to remind college football fans that are just fed up with all of the talk of the business side of things is, come Saturday, in the fall, you're not going to think about it.
No.
You're not going to think about NIL. I remember last summer when we were having all these discussions about NIL, we had so many people concerned about how it would completely change college football and how it's not going to be the same and how players aren't going to play for the love of the game. They're going to play for the money. And I'll tell you what, at least for myself, I can speak for myself, I have not watched any college football game differently because Bo Nix is doing an ad with Milo's Sweet Tea.
Right.
Because DeColdis Crawford, which is actually a great NIL deal, DeColdis Crawford's doing a deal with an air conditioning company. None of those things have changed my viewing experience as a college football fan. So I think that these are all the same. And, of course, conference realignment, USC and UCLA going to the Big Ten, that changes things. You know, you're not going to have... you're not going to have the Rose Bowl like you had in the past. You're not going to have, these Pac-12 matchups. You're not going to have Cal and USC like you have in the past. And that's a big change. That changes, your Saturdays in the fall. But overall, we get used to it. Let's not forget that Arkansas and South Carolina weren't in the SEC very long ago. Do we forget that Texas A&M joined the SEC only 10 years ago?
Right.
And now it feels like it's hard to remember a time before Texas A&M was in the SEC. So those are all things, those are all changes that happen all the time in college football. They've happened before, they'll happen again. We get used to it, and there are certain changes that we all thought would completely change college football for the worse. And honestly, they haven't really changed it much.
Yeah, I mean, that's been 30 years now since Arkansas and South Carolina joined. And Tennessee fans hate to bring this back, but you remember Arkansas's first visit to Neyland Stadium in '92. I think Tennessee was 4-0, and Arkansas kicked like a 50-yard field goal to win that game.
Ooh.
And then Tennessee goes on the road to South Carolina, and Steve Tannehill, not in any relation to Ryan, they beat Tennessee. Then, I mean, so it's time. It's hard to fathom a league without South Carolina, Arkansas, and with A&M and Missouri. And Missouri, the first 2 years, they win the SEC East and go to the championship game in 12 and 13. They lost to Alabama and Auburn then, but it's change is inevitable, right? But somebody's like, well, it's the new normal. I hate that word, the new normal. I always hated that phrase. That's kind of what it is. And then when Oklahoma and Texas bounce in the league here, I don't think it'll be 20. I think it'll be a lot sooner than 2025 when they show up. And then they just go ahead and play the games in front of you.
Exactly. And also, too, we always look forward to, I know Alabama and Texas had a game on the schedule in 2025 and 26, a home and home.
Right.
Everyone was so excited to see that. Well, now you get that every year. So while it's a change and while I'm very much so a traditionalist, these changes happen all the time.
Yeah.
Randy texts in and says, as expansion continues, do you think it's possible that the powers that be would consider making football only as its own thing? That would keep the Olympic sports not having to travel so far, and it would ensure the stability of NCAA basketball tournament. That's interesting because we talk about how this affects football because football is king, but also, March Madness. That's also a massive moneymaker for these schools. There's so much money in advertising and TV deals that is pumped into March Madness. That's not something that can be ignored. Another thing is these other Olympic sports in swimming and softball and women's soccer. And I know that's not at the forefront of the people of the powers that be because they don't cash in on those sports.
Right.
But they also still exist, and it's also still part of the NCAA experience, if that's even going to be a thing in a few years. So that is interesting to think about. I don't know what happens with that. I don't know if there's going to be, football divisions or conferences, and then also Olympic sports conferences. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
I don't see that working out. I look at the SEC network, for example. Whenever it's not football season, they have to schedule that programming still.
Right.
They still have 24 hours a day.
You're correct.
They need to have something on the television, and that's baseball and softball and swimming and other Olympic sports. So I'm sure they also have TV deals or there's certain contracts or clauses, whatever. It's for people a lot smarter than me to figure out that it wouldn't work to have a university in two different conferences.
No, and think about, UCLA joining the Big Ten. Think of the road trip now for the girls soccer team to play Rutgers. Well, it's very Rutgers, right? Because it's the farthest one away.
And it's just Rutgers.
Yeah, that's a nice 4 or 5 hour plane ride across country to do that. And they talk about education, student athletes, but now you've got these teams going on the road for so long and so far away because you want to make more money. And you can't argue with that. I understand all that, but still, man, you're putting these teams and these other teams, these non-revenue sports. The tennis team at UCLA's got to travel and take on Penn State, or Penn State traveling to California and do all that. So there's all these little things that pop up beyond just the football landscape. So, we'll read tomorrow. Something else will change, I'm sure. There's another proposal or something that goes on because it's going to be never-ending until they figure it all out, which they probably will never figure it all out.
And it's a fair point to bring up because it almost feels ridiculous that to your point, the tennis team is going to have to bus cross-country to New Jersey in order to play. But when you get a payday like that, like USC and UCLA are going to get with the Big Ten, I think they view that as, look, let's cash in on this, and then we'll figure out all of the details later.
Yeah, it's kind of how I do my bank account.
Exactly. Let's just go ahead and swipe my credit card. I'll figure it out later.
I still got checks left. How can I be overdrawn? I don't know what that means. Yeah, that's money drives everything. You hate to see that, but that's just the way it is today with the game. And I just can't wait till next week. We just talk about football back on the field and with college starting on August 27th. And then after that, for like the next 15, 16 weekends, it's perfect.
I'm ready for it. That is going to do it for us today. Caroline Fenton, Joe Dubin in for Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. We're out at St. Thomas Sports Park. We watched Titans training camp, their joint practice with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What were the biggest takeaways from the day? Jared Stillman was on the offensive field today, so he'll bring you his biggest takeaways coming up next. We'll see y'all tomorrow at 10 a.m.
You watch the game.